Very good. Karibu sana. This is Good Morning Kenya. It's the 18th day of August 2026. How are you doing? A very cold day in the city here. And I know it's all over across the country. No, some parts of the country is pretty cold. And yes, that's how it is. Karibu sana. My name is Victor Olo and this is KBC Channel 1. Now, the show on air right now is Good Morning Kenya. Do this. Just stay with us until 10 a.m. because the show that we have for you today, I repeat, the show that we have for you today is more to be in fire. Sindio Maria Dhiambo.
Yes, Sindio.
Maria, how are you doing?
Fine, and you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
And I have Vivian here.
Yes. Good morning.
Ladies, you look radiant. Mike,
yeah.
A moment of silence. Look at them.
Yeah, they look radiant.
A moment of silence to look at us. Are you looking with the mouth?
No, just appreciate how you look so happy today. Mike, you okay?
Oh, 100%.
Great.
Yes.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, now Kenya is a vibrant democracy, and where we are today has taken us years and decades to be at this particular position. But there is one thing that is always a big issue for us anytime we get to an election. I know we have got our ethnic lines that were drawn since independence, you know, wakoloni walitoka, and I think that's something what was imprinted in us. And we're really trying as much as possible to kill it. But it comes to a position now where it becomes a song that we sing here every single day and across other media outlets across the country. So let's talk about in search of sanity, political sanity for that matter, in search of political sanity. Because if you don't talk about this, history will just give us some bitter pill for us to swallow. I pray that we do not get to that direction. And you know, when history repeats itself, it may not be a good one. So let's just be awake for a moment and talk about the political sanity. What happened over the weekend? We all saw what happened. And I want us to discuss that in depth. So I'll be having 4 guests here, 4 people who are able enough to tackle this issue. Adede, a man with 2 names. Adede, he's a public policy analyst. He'll be here. Honorable Wilberforce Oundo, he's member of Parliament, Funyula constituency. He's also part of the Linda Mwananchi. And for that reason, he was also caught in the crossfire, what happened in Homa Bay County over the weekend. Professor Emmanuel Mutisia is educationist and also development expert. He's also chairman of KAIS University in Konza, Technopolis, and Daniel Juma Omondi, Africa Regional Representative, Global Peace Foundation. The great men, 4 of them will be here at 7. In search of political sanity. Cynthia, Vivian?
Yeah?
Yeah.
We should actually find sanity in this, because the political violence as it is right now is insane.
Yep.
Let's just put it as it is. It is insane. So yes, we'll be looking to get to hear how we can get to a point where we stabilize everything matters politics in this country. Now that aside, what will be forming our basis of conversation on our health segment today is a talk on cancer care and the cost of survival, as we try to look at ways in which we can be able to restore hope in cancer patients. That will be our conversation this morning, as I will be joined by Edgar Laletti, who is a medical social worker, Mount Elgon Oncology and Palliative Center. We'll also be having a cancer warrior with us, that is Eunice Wambua, as well as Nana Kilemi, who is the CEO and the founder of Needy Cancer Health Initiative. Let's have that conversation and find hope for cancer patients. Mike?
Very timely conversation. Now, I want us to take this a notch higher and talk about matters of transforming education within the East African region. And this goes beyond just the number of children that are in school to incorporate matters that regard access to education. How can it be improved? How do we impart learning skills in them, as well as advancing tech-enabled education? That is a conversation I'll be having with Dr. Irene Nyamo, who is the CEO, Regional Education Learning Initiative. That is a conversation that will be coming to you at around 8 a.m. Remember, you can be part of every conversation happening right here on KBC Channel 1. Find us on X, Instagram, Facebook as KBC Channel 1, as well as sending us a text via WhatsApp number 0707 303 212. Good morning, Marie.
Very good morning to you, Mike, and definitely to all of you, beg your pardon, joining us from across the country. I've been so quiet, imagine. Victor, paka sauti imeenda. Yeah, I was not in Homa Bay, so that maybe nilikuwa nina shout. That's my county.
Yes.
We are the people of Homa Bay.
Yes, the people of Homa Bay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all said and done, I'm well and happy to see you guys. I've been away for about a week or so, but we are back to work. And really, the aftermath of the violence in Homa Bay is coming to fore right now. And just like you've mentioned, Victor, there is need to nip this in the bud. I think we've always seen, violence here and there, or goonism, but I think it's becoming like it's normal, like every other time. Political rallies are held in places that are deemed, not welcoming, but that should not be the case. People should be able to sell their whatever it is, policies and all that, wherever they want to. So I think just like you've mentioned, it's timely that you're going to speak about it. It's important to ensure that this does not continue, because then we're going to be a banana republic or something of that sort. So there is need for law and order. Everybody has a right to sell whatever they're selling in peace and all that. So you can buy or not buy. Nobody is forcing you. But it was a shame. Let me put it that way. So that is what we're going to be looking at in the news, extensively a little bit. And of course, sports will be coming at the tail end of this bulletin. Let's begin in Homa Bay, where one person has died and at least 46 others injured following Sunday's Linda Mwananchi rally in Homa Bay, with 7 patients reported to be in critical condition. Now, the violence also left a trail of destruction, with several vehicles torched and a church attacked, as the full extent of the damage emerged after the team left the town. Let's get the details of that story.
Felt most at the Homa Bay County Teaching and Referral Hospital, where 46 people were treated following the violence. Among those attended to was a police officer who sustained a head injury, while 4 people suffered gunshot wounds to their lower limbs. A woman died after she was reportedly struck by a speeding vehicle during the chaos. She was rushed to hospital but died shortly after being examined by a doctor.
Ni mbaya sana vile walitenda. Kuna wengine wagonjwa, wengine walipiga wako mchari, kuna wengine wako ward na hata madaktari pia kuna. Sasa ni shida tupu. Mali imepondwa, mali imechomwa, Homa Bay ni mbaya.
The violence also left property worth of unknown amount destroyed, with up to 6 vehicles set ablaze after their drivers reportedly lost control and were unable to move amid the chaos.
If this happened because of our local politicians, then it needs to, they are needed to restructure the way they do their politics.
Residents have condemned the violence, warning that such incidents could scare away investors.
Naomba siasa ikuwe siasa ya amani. Hii siasa tumeona sio siasa inaweza peleka inchi mbele ama inaweza peleka kaunti mbele. Hao watu wanagombana ni watu walikuwa pamoja.
And political leaders, clergy and the media practitioners have condemned the rising cases of political goonism being witnessed as the country enters the electioneering period. They have demanded action from security agencies in dealing with the political violence, warning that the trend could undermine Kenya's economic stability and social cohesion.
As residents and businessmen in Homa Bay County come to terms with the damages and losses incurred during the melee that rocked the county during Sunday's Linda Mwananchi rally, political players have pointed an accusing finger at the national security organs for what they allege is abdication of duty. The Jubilee Party and the People's Renaissance Movement Party have demanded that the leadership of the Interior Ministry take responsibility for the mayhem.
We can't lose lives day in, day out on simple matters. I mean, I've often asked the question, if you come from Kiambu, for example, or you come from Murang'a, and the UDA leaders came there to have a public rally, why should you interfere with them? They're not carrying away the residents of Murang'a, they are leaving them behind. You can also come back and talk to them. So if Linda Mwananchi was going to Homa Bay to have a rally, they were not carrying away the residents of Homa Bay.
And therefore we must appeal beyond this country to our friends from across the globe. Please intervene now before the situation gets out of hand, because you can clearly see the direction this pattern of violence is heading towards.
The political class in Nyanza region has also condemned the Sunday's incident, insisting that the country has no room for political intolerance.
Tunasema ile kitendo ambayo ilitendeka hapa jana ni mbaya sana. Kuvamia mali ya watu, hata kuchoma hata magari ya watu ni mbaya sana juu ya siasa. Siasa ile Raila aliwacha ni siasa ambao ni watu wanakuwa huru na kusema ile ambao wanataka.
Hao watu wanagombana ni watu walikuwa pamoja, ni watu wa Raila. Wote wanatembea wakiita jina Raila. Na Raila hakuwa anafanya siasa ya kuuana.
I think it's enshrined in our constitution. Let's be people that are giving everybody a chance to be able to give their views to the people, and the people will make the decision.
In Kisumu, scribes, most of whom became victims of Sunday violence in Homa Bay, have demanded for the recovery of the equipment stolen during the chaotic rally.
We want also police to institute recovery of those equipment. Investigations must not stop at those who carried out the physical attacks. We want those who organized, financed, facilitated, or incited the violence must equally be held accountable.
This even as religious leaders from Kiambu County similarly raised concerns over what they describe as a worrying rise in political intolerance.
Mwananchi nataka kumuongelesea na sana wanayuthi wetu wasije wakatumike vibaya kwa ajili ya kukosesa watu wale wengine amani. Siku ya leo utakula hiyo chenye ambacho utakapopewa diweze kufanya vile utakavyofanya, lakini kesho yake haujui.
Similar sentiments were made in Nakuru County, where a section of DCP aspirants called on Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja to apprehend the financiers of political violence.
Sisi tutapanga mikutano ya siasa. Kenya hii kikatiba tuko na haki ya kuongelesha kila mtu popote pale katika taifa la Kenya.
Kila chama imekaribishwa kuja piga siasa yako, iwe Jubilee, iwe UDA, iwe nini, lakini sisi kama wana DCP hatutakubali kukandamizwa na mtu mmoja ambaye anataka kuleta animosity ya katika community hapa Nakuru kwa sababu ya ubinafsi wake.
Well, and pressure continues to mount on security agencies to guarantee safety for women aspirants amidst political heat as the country gears up for the 2027 general election. Women lawmakers under the Kenya Women Parliamentary Association say the growing political tension is worrying and risks denying them a level playing field with their male counterparts in the election. Now, the calls were made during a consultative forum bringing together female political aspirants and young people to chart the way forward in strengthening women's political participation.
With political temperatures steadily rising ahead of the 2027 general election, women political leaders and political aspirants assembled under the Kenya Women Parliamentary Association banner to strategize on expanding women's participation in the political space. The leaders calling on the Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja and the security apparatus to guarantee women aspirants security and protection as a breakdown of law and order risks disadvantaging them.
Na jambo ambalo mimi linanitia hofu sana ni kwamba kumekuwa kumekuwa na misukosuko ya kisiasa, kumekuwa na violence ambayo sisi akina mama hatuwezani. Watu wakikimbia, sisi wengi wanaogopa, na ndio maana unaona hata wale ambao wanajitosa kwenye uwanja wa siasa wanakuwa wachache.
When a woman knows that stepping forward to seek office exposes her to intimidation, harassment or violence, we cannot tell her to simply be courageous.
The leaders pleaded for tolerance ahead of the elections, expressing concern over recent infiltration of political meetings by goons.
There's a lot of guns in the hands of thugs, and I'd want to call on the Inspector General and on CS Murkomen that they must up their game on security, especially as we enter the electoral process. And it must be non-partisan.
To further enhance their participation in politics, the lawmakers challenged political parties to stop applying lip service on the consideration of gender balance during nominations.
That a bigger percentage, not less than 40, is given to women. You know, not really freely, but different women to be at least vetted within the different positions that they want to, but let political parties prioritize ensuring that we have women.
It's really unfortunate, the space for women, it's still quite, nitasema bado imeshikiliwa kibabe na wanaume, but I'm sure we're going to emerge.
And I want to encourage all young people and women who are running for office. It is bare knuckles. If it is hard, be hard. If it is soft, be soft. Strategize. Have a position that you create influence. When you create influence, people will follow you.
One of Kenya's leading lights in women's political participation, People's Liberation Party leader Martha Karua, who shared her political journey, urged aspirants to rise above intimidation and insults and center their campaigns purely on issues.
Every elected person must be asked the tough questions. And you who wants the seat of that elected person, you must go saying, these are the things I will do. Enumerate how you will do better than the person who is not there. We are beyond insults, we are for issues.
Other news now, where Kenya Kwanza allied leaders are calling on Kenyans to embrace development-focused politics and national unity. The leaders have drummed up support for President William Ruto's re-election, premising it on what they say is equitable distribution of development across the country.
Led by Energy and Petroleum Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi, the leaders call out a section of the political class whom they allege have developed a habit of disrespecting President William Ruto and his administration.
Mheshimiwa Rais Ruto, yeye kama marais wengine ambao wamekuwepo katika hii nchi, anastahili apewe heshima vile Aseka alisema.
Huyu Ruto ni bwana ya mtu. Huyu Ruto ni baba ya mtu. Huyu Ruto pia ako na familia ya, na huyu Ruto pia ako na marafiki kama huyu Aseka Mera. Ukimtusi Ruto, na mimi sasa nitaanza kutusi.
Another section of leaders allied to the president, led by his aide Farouk Kibet, rallied the Kisii region to back his bid for a second term in office for what they said was a transformative 4 years of equitable development.
Nyinyi mnasema ni 2 term ama sio 2 term? Hebu nione kwa mkono kama ni 2 term, 2 term.
This even as former cabinet secretary and TSP leader Mwangi Kiunjuri warned politicians abandoning the UDA after failing to deliver that they should not expect automatic acceptance in other political parties. Kiunjuri is urging political parties, particularly those in Mount Kenya region, to reject party hoppers pursuing political survival.
Hata kama watakaa kwa serikali na kazi yao inaonekana watashaguliwa tena. Na mimi niko na uhakika kazi yangu itanisimamia.
In the meantime, youth lobby group dubbed Vijana Naruto has stepped up its criticism on the opposition, accusing a section of its leaders of failing to uphold decorum when addressing the head of state.
Regardless of the political disagreement that may exist between any leader and the executive, there exists a basic standard of decorum expected of every elected leader when addressing the head of state.
Elsewhere, a section of Kikuyu elders in Kirinyaga County has rejected calls to split the vote-rich Mount Kenya region into east and west, saying the historical strength of the region has been anchored on unity.
Well, and former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has moved to the High Court, to the Court of Appeal, that is, to challenge the High Court decision that upheld his impeachment and removal from office. Gachagua says the High Court erred in law by acknowledging violations of some of his constitutional rights while declining to overturn the Senate decision that removed him from office.
In his petition, the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is asking the Appellate Court to declare the Senate's October 17, 2024 decision to remove him from office as Deputy President unconstitutional, void and without legal effect. Gachagua is also seeking an amendment of the High Court judgment to include portions stated publicly during the delivery of the ruling and not incorporated into the written judgment. In his appeal, Gachagua argues that the High Court erred by finding that some of his constitutional rights were violated, yet ruling that the Senate's decision to remove him from office was not reversible. He further avers that portions of the ruling delivered in open court were omitted from the final written judgment. The former Deputy President is also challenging the public participation process conducted by the National Assembly and the Senate, arguing that it failed to meet constitutional requirements. Gachagua argues that the 50 million shillings awarded to him by the High Court for violation of his constitutional rights is inadequate to restore his dignity, uphold the Constitution, and deter future violations. He is further contesting the nomination and appointment of his successor, Professor Githure Kindiki.
And a local pastor in Kiambu County is taking Sunday sermons to a new level after converting a matatu stage into an open-air church and therapy center for persons battling alcohol addiction. Every Sunday, Pastor Godfrey Kangondo preaches the Word of God, giving hope to a group of people seeking a new alcohol and drug-free path.
Hallelujah! This is not your ordinary church service. And they are not your ordinary congregation either. They're men and women recovering from alcohol addiction. Pastor Godfrey Kagundu, founder of Mephibosheth Counseling Center, decided that instead of waiting for congregants in the church, he will bring the church to them.
To the place of increase.
Every Sunday for the last 7 months, they gather at this Matatu Stage Camp Rehabilitation Center for spiritual guidance, encouragement and basic support alongside hot soup and bread. So what prompted the man of cloth to start this charitable initiative?
Ni hawa wachache vile walivyo, nafsi yangu na roho yangu inawapenda kwa njia ya kipekee. Tunajua ya kwamba sio kupenda kwao. Tunajua it's a sickness like any other.
Here they sing and dance, praise the Lord and offer one another support to not give up on their individual recovery journeys. The high cost of rehabilitation makes this an affordable alternative and the results are visible.
Sasa kila wakati na jaribu kujicontrol sana.
Kama leo nimeamua niokoke. Leo nimeombewa na pastor na nikaokoka. Nikaona afadhali nikae na huyo Mungu. Maisha yangu yote nimebaki.
Pastor Kagundu is appealing to well-wishers to come on board and help set up a permanent center to serve more people.
They need more. They need support. Wanahitaji wapendwe kwa sababu lazima upende mtu ili umshifikie.
As alcohol addiction continues to weigh down some families, this open-air prayer and counseling hub in Kiambu County is proving that sometimes recovery begins with simply reaching out to those left behind.
Well, I look at business news where Energy Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi is accusing unnamed individuals hailing from outside Siaya County of funding demonstrations to incite the locals to reject establishment of a nuclear power plant at Lenya area of Bondo sub-county. Wandayi's remarks come after a spate of demonstrations against the proposed 500 billion shillings nuclear power plant.
The proposed nuclear plant in Siaya is expected to generate 2,000 megawatts of electricity and form part of Kenya's long-term strategy to diversify its power sources and strengthen energy security. Government preparations are already underway, with detailed site studies completed for 9 potential nuclear plant sites in Siaya County.
Hii mradi ya nuclear power plant ni mradi ya maana sana. Hii ni itakuwa mradi wa kwanza wa nuclear power production katika hii nchi ya Kenya. Na kwa bahati nzuri Mheshimiwa Rais na serikali yake wameamua kwamba hiyo mradi iletwe hapa Siaya County.
Wandai has defended the project, saying Kenya cannot afford to hold back development as demand for electricity rises. The CS has also criticized opposition to the project, claiming that some of those mobilizing against it are funded by outsiders.
Kwa hivyo wale ambao wako wachache na wanatumiwa na wengine ambao hawapendi development ya hii eneo lazima wakemewe.
He says the nuclear project will provide a reliable source of power while creating opportunities for local communities and businesses.
Kama wananchi wa eneo hili wa kaunti ya Siaya, lazima tushukuru serikali kuu. Na lazima tuwe katika mstari wa mbele kuhifadhi hiyo mradi na kuiunga mkono ili itekelezwe haraka iwezekanavyo.
Public participation on the proposed plant began in Siaya in July, with the government saying communities will remain central to the process.
The Kenya Tea Development Agency, KTDA, is aggressively expanding its tea market strategy to cushion farmers from declining global prices. KTDA National Chairperson Enos Njeru says they are pursuing new markets and strengthening value addition efforts as tea earnings come under pressure from recent price declines.
Kenya has been seeking to reduce reliance on traditional markets by increasing sales of special tea and processed tea. This is expected to increase earnings for the over 600,000 smallholder farmers who supply their green leaf to the Kenya Tea Development Agency, KTDA.
Generally, we have improved on the absorption, but price-wise, more so in the east of Rift, because of their premium product, prices have gone down.
The tea value chain has also been focusing on boosting tea quality and securing better prices for Kenyan tea in international markets.
We are hopeful that as we push to get more and better markets, prices will still improve.
Njeru says KTDA was open and prepared to engage consultatively on genuine proposals on reforms in the tea value chains.
There may be different views on how the tea industry should be managed and reformed, and we are prepared to engage constructively on all genuine proposals that improve farmers' return.
And the once arid Galana-Kulalu plains are the new frontier for commercial agriculture, with irrigation and renewable energy supporting year-round crop production. The transformation is part of a wider food security push aimed at turning thousands of acres of dry land into productive farms and reducing food imports.
Nyumba Agri Products Limited is among investors at the Galana-Kulalu Food Security Project under a public-private partnership targeting the development of about 300,000 acres for irrigation and commercial farming. The company's operations rely on water infrastructure network that draws water from the Galana River and water harvesting, storing it in reservoirs and earth dams before distributing it across cultivated fields. Solar-powered irrigation systems help overcome the challenge of operating in a remote area with limited access to electricity. Diesel generators provide additional power when needed, ensuring uninterrupted water supply for crop production throughout the year.
Irrigation is the backbone of every farming project. It's the key points when it comes to farming. For us having multiple reservoirs and we have access to the irrigation water in the center pivots, it enables us to have a crop throughout the year in terms of maize, onions, as I have said.
Kimathi says integration of renewable energy and modern farming technology is helping unlock the potential of previously underutilized land while improving agricultural productivity.
Currently, we have 23 center pivots under cultivation, which is under irrigation. And we have 32 also. In total, we have 32 under pivot center pivots, 23 under cultivation, and in future we are planning to have 78 at the end of the year, which will be under irrigation and cultivation also.
Mradi ni mzuri juu maeneo haya wametegemea mradi. Na kila mmoja amefaulu ama amefaidi juu ya mradi. Mimi ningependa mradi uongezeke zaidi.
Maize, onions, cassava, soybeans and sisal are among the crops farmed here, even as investors step up value addition efforts.
A look at sports, where Malkia Strikers head coach Geoffrey Omondi is confident his charges will hit peak form as they seek to retain the African Nations Women Volleyball Championship title on home soil. The 10-time African champions have stepped up preparations ahead of the Continental Showpiece set for the 23rd of August to the 5th of September at the Kasarani Indo Arena, with the visiting teams expected by Friday.
Coach says they have maintained their fitness levels since the conclusion of the Kenya Volleyball Federation National League and Kenya Cup, with the technical bench now focusing on tactical execution, serving, attacking and defensive transitions. He also assured Kenyan fans the team is ready to defend its crown, promising to improve on reception, blocking and back row defense. Malkia Strikers beat Egypt 3-0 in the 2023 final to reclaim their continental title and will be targeting a record-extending 11th championship. The tournament is expected to feature 16 countries and will also serve as a qualification for the 2027 World Championships and the 2028 LA Olympic Games.
Well, and that's where we put a cap on the Good Morning Kenya news this morning. Thank you, as always, for choosing to start your day with us here on Good Morning Kenya. That's where we end it for me, but Good Morning Kenya crew still continues with the show. Victor Lo, Mike Megwe, and of course, Vivian Degwa are here to steer you through the rest of the program. Have a blessed day.
Pindi tunapowasha vifaa vyetu, tunapata fursa ya kutangamana na wasikilizaji wetu.
Karibu sana thĩinĩ wa tabarĩra ya Rwiga.
Tunapeperusha utangazaji uliobobea katika habari,
nĩ ũndũ wa macio na mangĩ maingĩ,
burudani,
haha nĩ harĩa tũkoragwo tũkĩigua nyĩmbo mwaki nyĩmbo hota
na hamasisho la kiroho. Usiachwe nyuma. Jiunge nasi kwa safari ya kufana katika 99.5 FM. Shoro FM.
Ni kila Ijumaa kutokea saa 1:30 mpaka saa 4 kamili. Inakuwa ni burudani kiukamilifu ya Afrika Mashariki.
Tunakupatia umbea kwa segment inaitwa The Big Story. Tunachanua what's happening in social media, msanii amefanya nini na nani.
Kando na mziki mzuri wa Afrika Mashariki, The Big Story pia anawaletea mastaa tofauti ndani ya studio kutoka Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, yani ukanda mzima wa Afrika Mashariki.
Nakumbuka pia unaweza interact na sisi kwenye mitandao, yani social media platforms, that is Facebook, Instagram, X na hashtag ni ile tu #WaMasharikiLive.
Tunakupa mix kali kutoka kwa DJ Kuch, muziki ya kizazi kipya iliyotamba inazidi kutamba na ambayo tunaitambaliza zaidi.
Exactly, and as always msei sawa, lazima tuwapatie burudani yenye vitamin extra.
Great, welcome back. It's now time for us to get to the politics. Now being Tuesday, People in Politics is 3 minutes past 7 a.m. A very cold morning here in the city, but hey, we have to do this. Stay with us until 8 a.m. It's going to be an intense one, I promise you. So stick around. All right, so before we get into the discussion, allow me to take you through the front page of the local dailies pretty fast as my guests get ready. We'll be taking a look at what is in the country, what is trending, having in mind that we are in that time again of our electoral cycle, that with only under 1 year to the polls, and a lot is happening across the country, and let's talk about that. Now, let's talk about today's topic, as I earlier told you, in search of political sanity. In search of political sanity. You as a Kenyan, as a voter, as a Wanjiku, do you really know the kind of role that you have to play? And how can we attain that peace and that sanity we need politically as a nation, all right? We have come a long way, 60 years plus since independence, and we are still talking about political sanity. But yes, we still have to. Allow me to take you through the front page of the local daily, starting with the Star newspaper. The Star says that power reaches 1.6 million as state lights up forgotten villages. Power reaches 1.6 million as state lights up forgotten villages. Remote communities finally part of country's development story. That is what's on the front page of the Star. And there are some illustrations here where new power connections per region is quite and clearly outlined here. Nyanza leading with 321,000, Eastern 256,000. We have got Central 190,000. Of course, plus Western 102,000, Rift Valley 313,000, Coast Region 196,000. Those are new power connections. Nairobi 111,000, and finally Northeastern 58,000 new connections. That's on the front page of the Star newspaper. Still on the front page, politically, divide and win. How inside President William Ruto's plot to split opposition ahead of 2027 election. That's on the front page. And yes, the story is there in details. So on page 6, you can take a look at that story in details. President's allies luring opposition chief with development and plum state jobs and personal treats. The story is here. That is part of the story. It's actually a full page, so you can go ahead and get your story for yourself. Okay, on the front page of the Daily Nation, how Homa Bay chaos was plotted. How Homa Bay chaos was plotted. Okay, that's on the front page there. You got it. How Homa Bay chaos was plotted. The Daily Nation illustrates that sources say a politician hosted a meeting to plan the attacks days to Sunday events. Another meeting was also held on the eve of the rallies with goons paid up to 4,000 Kenyan shillings. At least 2 people, including a police officer, killed and scores injured. And finally, local police say that 22 suspects were arrested following the violence. Okay, local police say that 22 people have been arrested. That is part of a discussion this morning. And Gachagua claims that court altered impeachment judgment. The former deputy president has challenged the High Court decision upholding his 2024 impeachment by the Senate. Among his key grounds at the Court of Appeal is the claim that the lower court modified the final written judgment to depart from the original and oral judgment pronounced in open court. Okay, that is on the front page of the Daily Nation. And finally, the Standard reports, God save Kenya. The Standard, God save Kenya. And of course, the faces of 3 gentlemen there, government officials, that is Interior CS, Kipchumba Murkomen, Interior PS, Raymond Omolo, and of course, IG Douglas Kanja. Whatever President Ruto sees in the men charged with the country's security, from Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen and his PS Raymond Omolo to IG of Police Douglas Kanja, continues to baffle Kenyans. Under their watch, the country appears to be sliding into a troubling culture of lawlessness, with the political violence increasingly threatening the right to assemble and campaign peacefully. Hours before the Linda Mwananchi rally in Homa Bay, warning signs were unmistakable. Reckless statements by politicians raised the spectre of violence, while goons were reportedly mobilized in broad daylight. What followed was a trail of destruction, bloodshed and death, raising serious questions about whether the state can protect citizens from politically instigated violence. Kenyans are now asking a simple but unsettling question. Who will protect them when those entrusted with their security appear unable or unwilling to act? And how much longer will the country remain on the edge before the president takes decisive action? That is on the front page of the Standard newspaper. And so that brings me to my topic today, in search of sanity, with the newspapers setting the pace very well. Allow me to introduce my guest right now. Let me start with Mheshimiwa Oundo Wilberforce, who is a member of parliament representing the good people of Funyula constituency. Mheshimiwa, good to see you. Karibu sana.
Asante sana. Good morning, Kenyans. Good morning, Victor.
Asante
I'm
sana.
happy to be back on the set today.
Asante. You will tell us what really happened in Homa Bay. You are part and parcel of that team.
Yes, I will.
Okay, great.
I will tell my story.
All right. And of course, Professor Emmanuel Mutisia is educationist and development expert. He is also the chairman of
KBC University.
Very good.
Good morning. Good morning,
Victor.
Prof. Good to see you again.
Asante sana.
Thank you.
I want us to stop where we left with you, of course, last week. Remember the launch of the Vision 2030, the conversation, the national conversation. I want to ask a question, and this is to all of you. Is it possible to, as a nation, to attain the Vision 2030 and even have the national conversation moving forward to 2060 with broken democracy? Prof.
Thank you, Victor. I'm happy that we are taking up this conversation from where we left.
Yes.
There are special, very critical tenets and foundations that are critical in driving the various agenda or blueprints that we have as a country. Certainly without democracy, without quality leadership, good governance, some of these, agenda, blueprints that we have will never be achieved. And that is why when you look back, we are now 3 years to 2030. On average, as you saw the figures, we are around 60%.
Yes.
So there's a 40% that has not been achieved yet, and certainly that will not be achieved within the next 3 years. Why? Because of key issues that were even raised during the launching of the national conversation at the KICC. And one of them is poor leadership, poor governance, graft, corruption, and misalignment of our development agenda. And of course, politics, because every 5 years we go back to a cycle of political, realignment campaigns and so on and so forth, which ends up departing from the roadmap that we have set as a country, to move forward, to the next level. Of course, a plan is a plan, a blueprint is a blueprint. Ours as leaders is to ensure that we work towards implementing or ensuring that we meet some of the targets or most of the targets that have been set. Now we're talking about Vision 2060 or Kenya at 100.
Yes.
Now the question many of us are asking is, if we have only been able to do 60%, then why are we thinking about 60 years or 30 years later?
Yes.
But certainly, of course, for us to move forward, even at household level, it is important to have a plan. In many cases, you have a plan, you set targets, you set timelines, periods, but in many cases we are not able to get that 100%. But that does not stop us from planning forward. And so it is important for Kenya, to continue coming up with these visions. But also we need to put, our plans right, to ensure that we focus more on bringing development to Mwananchi, and depart further from the politics of this country, to avoid the issues that we saw in Homa Bay the other day.
Yes.
That Homa Bay County is seen on paper as one of the best counties when it comes to improvement in development at that local level. But then some of the pictures that we see down there are far from the truth. That we need to do more as a country to ensure that development gets to the lowest level possible, to the counties, to household level, so that people are able to enjoy the fruits of devolution, the fruits of development, and the fruits of these visions that the country is putting on the table for people.
So, Prof, just hold that thought. Mheshimiwa, you are in the thick of things from the beginning to the end, and what we are reporting, and actually part of the stories that we ran, which has been running for the last 2 days, is about Homa Bay and what happened in Salga to DCP leader and in Sokomjinga and all that, whatever is happening across. The two newspapers talking about one thing, God save Kenya. This is not something that should be reported. And of course, the Daily Nation says how Homa Bay chaos were plotted. Vision 2030, national conversation and beyond, to stabilize the country. But our democracy, as it is, seems not to be stable enough.
Let me start with the Vision 2060, whatever they want to call it. It is good for a country to have a very clear blueprint that is insulated against the typical change in leadership every 5 years. Right. That ought to be the best thing to happen to any typical country, that whoever gets elected is bound to implement that vision, that economic blueprint, but probably could change the way they implement it. But in this country, we seem not to follow that particular typical arrangement of doing things. Yeah. You find every regime comes with its own ideas, which at times are completely at variance with the bigger overarching picture. We had Vision 2030. We would have expected the successive governments after the one of Honorable Mwai Kibaki would literally have built the so-called this old-tired story of manifestos around the Vision 2030, the various MTPs as we go along. Before we even talk about Vision 2060, yes, the main question we need to ask ourselves and answer, why didn't we not achieve the targets? Why didn't we not achieve the targets? What can we do then to make sure that we achieve those targets? What are the timelines of achieving those targets before now we start looking at another economic blueprint? That would have been the neater way. Would have said, yes, we would thought about Vision 2030. We are unlikely to achieve it. We have 40% to be done. Let's extend this, probably Vision 2035, so that we complete the remaining 40 or so %, then before we embark on another economic blueprint. Yeah. You remember very well, as that the professor from Japan says, Kenya has got no chance whatsoever with this kind of economy, the kind of governance structure, to reach Singapore in our lifetime. He said in the next 30 or 40 years, we can't get to that level. Yes. And indeed, what happened in Homa Bay lends credence to that particular statement, that this country probably is not interested in governing itself in a manner that bestows honor and prosperity to the people of this country. It has been a pattern that has been building up over time. And we have raised, as Linda Mwananchi team, have raised these concerns on very, very many occasions. But of course, since the sponsors of the goons are the people who hold the levers of the security system, our complaints and our comments have literally fallen on deaf ears or deliberately ignored so that we achieve whatever it is required to be done. The newspapers, any simple discerning Kenyans can see through the smoke screen that this was a state-sponsored terrorism against its own people. You can't argue it any other way, Victor. It's a sad situation. The loss of life, the loss of property, the loss of business. It's a shame. Yes. A terrible shame.
In 30 seconds, what was the situation like?
It was Cambodia. It was Afghanistan. I have been in so many demonstrations, Baba Raila Amolo Odinga, but I have never seen anarchy. I have never seen death in my eyes like I saw between 6:30 and around 7:15 p.m. in the city, town center of Homa Bay, next to Raila Amolo Odinga International Stadium. We desecrated the legacy of Baba Raila Amolo Odinga. We humiliated the name of Baba Raila Amolo Odinga. We embarrassed the Luo community, which are known, and people have gone to school, sober people who can debate and argue points from a point of knowledge would never, in my imagination, would ever revert to that outdated, primordial, primitive approach because we hold different political views.
Okay.
Homa Bay has been known to produce some of the best minds in this country. Tom Mboya, Engineer Kundi, to reduce Homa Bay of such legends into charlatans, it is such a very embarrassing situation. I feel sorry.
I give you time enough so that you can also explain to us, because it's part of our discussion. But first of all, let me welcome Daniel Juma Mondi, Africa Regional Representative for Global Peace Foundation. Karibu sana, Dan.
Thank you for having me.
Asante sana. And next to him is man with two names, Adede. Public policy analyst. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Okay, so Daniel, we are celebrating the most progressive constitution in 2010. But is Kenya giving itself, or let me use this word, herself, the best, even after having the best constitution in the world?
Thank you for having me, and sorry for coming late. First of all, let me just say that what happened in Homa Bay was very, very sad. It was very, very sad, and it is not what was envisioned when we promulgated our constitution. We are a constitutional democracy, and what we saw in Homa Bay is not constitutional at all. And being someone who comes from that region of Nyanza, I can see clearly that whatever happened in Homa Bay is choreographed to paint the Luo community negatively, to paint us, like you heard Mheshimiwa saying, as charlatans, as people who have not gone to school. And this, I want to put it squarely on the feet of the politicians. And I want to put this blame squarely on the feet of Governor James Orengo, or Governor Gladys Wanga, or Kaluma, and Babu Owino. These are Luo leaders who should know better. We have problems in Luo land. Luo land has been historically marginalized by previous administrations. We elected Governor James Orengo, as governor to help us bring development to that part of the region. Instead of doing what we elected him to do, he is in Homa Bay running around, and Homa Bay he knows very, very well the history of Homa Bay. You saw the other day when the MP the election was going on. It is a volatile, because of the nature. These young people have been impoverished. They have been left on their own. You could see it. Youth don't have jobs. They're being used. They're being misused by these politicians. So instead of these people who know very, very well, the history of and what these youths are going through, instead of, why are we even with doing these rallies in the first place? We are almost 1 year to the elections. How come, why is it that now every one of these politicians are already on top of vehicles campaigning 1 year to the elections, yet we know very, very well, that there is work to be done. Governor Orengo has work to do in Siaya. What is he doing in Homa Bay? Babu Owino was elected in Nairobi.
Of course.
What is he doing? Sifuna was our senator in Nairobi.
Mheshimiwa here is a member of parliament of Ulula. He was in Homa Bay.
You get my point?
The right to a political association
that is fine. But you see, what is happening in Homa Bay, you don't see it in Central Kenya. Central Kenya, I was there, a few months ago. Those people have good roads. They have development. They have achieved so much. Luo Nyanza is still behind in development. Instead of focusing on what we elected them to do, what is it with this Linda, I don't get it, honestly.
Okay.
For me, I don't get it, and I must say, I must say from someone who comes from Siaya, very soon, if this doesn't stop, we are going to take these people to court. Because, number one, even it's an affront on the Political Parties Act. Most of these people were elected on ODM, for example. They are already promoting activities of new parties, yet earning salaries on parties that elected them to parliament. These people want the ordinary Mwananchi to obey the laws that they have created, yet themselves, they're running around the country with impunity, inciting young people, giving young people machetes. It is very embarrassing, to say the least.
For the record, there is a communication from the NCIC, and the members of parliament that you mentioned have not received any communication from NCIC. NCIC has actually summoned Homa Bay Member of Parliament Peter Pondo Kaluma to appear before the NCIC tomorrow at 10:30 a.m.
What he did in Luo language was disgraceful. You understand? I have known Pondo Kaluma. He is a lawyer, for heaven's sake. He knows better. What he communicated in Luo language, before Linda, I mean, I would say, let these people campaign. Let them run around.
Very good.
There is no need of stopping them. Let them come, say whatever they want to say, and they can go back to their places. So what he did was wrong, and he needs to be accountable.
Very good.
As well.
Adede, are Kenyan politicians the problem, or are Kenyans also part to be blamed? Because when you see what the Daily Nation is reporting, that a meeting was, actually 2 meetings were held. It's here. And the goons were paid up to 4,000 shillings. This is it. So are the politicians to blame, or the Kenyan citizen, Wanjiku, also to be blamed?
I think to me, I take in that there are four structures, or the organs that should deal with the political sanity that we are having today. We have the judiciary, we have the executive, and then we have the legislature, and then the people. And then if you add again the media, the sensational headlines that they're having, when they say that goons were given up to 4,000 shillings, where were they? Why did they not report at the same time they were being paid? And if you look, I was in Homa Bay. I come from Homa Bay. I was in Homa Bay on that Sunday, very, very fateful day. You look at the discussion that the Linda Wananchi were having before the rally. You look at the discussion that the governor of Homa Bay and Peter Kaluma were having before the rally. And Governor Wanga went even up to Sindo, where the first rally that the Linda Wananchi were having. Then the communication was very clear. Please, if you are not supporting Linda Wananchi, remain at home. If you want to go to the rally just because you are angry, please talk to your elected leaders who are around, and then have my officers around. We can see how to sort it out. Look at the final call that Honorable Karoli made when they were finishing the rally in Sindo. We are going to Homa Bay, and we are going for a war in Homa Bay. And Mheshimiwa here has just said the time that they were arriving in Homa Bay. It was around 7:30, surely at night. In the evening.
Going home.
They should be going home.
You could see the vehicles, Babu saying, they're coming after us. And KTN was basically streaming
everything. And there is a constitutional order. It's the obligation at what time our campaigns should start and what time it should stop. Karoli said, we are going for a war. We are finishing the rally here, and we are going to Homa Bay, and we are going for a war. It is on record. So those young boys who are in Homa Bay, what will you expect them to do? People are coming and you could see there were a multitude of people with their young boys. They were carrying machetes. They were carrying those rods. The people in Homa Bay were terrified. They were like, if these guys are coming, are they coming? Those who are along the road with their shops, they had to get prepared for.
Let me finish. I watched this live. Nyandiwa rally, we watched it. Sifuna spoke. All of these leaders spoke. It was around 6. They should have left.
There's another lady
from 6 to 7. Where are you going? Even Electoral Act, when I was campaigning in Uganda, 6 is the end. So from 6,
that's why you didn't win an election.
I mean,
Victor, let me put it very clear. Let me put it very clear. To avoid misinformation and disinformation, these two gentlemen seem to want to portray here. We raised this alarm on Tuesday. We had already received credible information, and the statements that were made in the Luo and some in English were recorded verbatim. And we forwarded these statements, these audios and videos to Kanja, Murukomen, and all security agencies.
Did you also forward the ones that you guys were organizing? Because even on Saturday night, there's 2 vehicles which were arrested moving from Kisumu to Homa Bay, which were aligned to the governor.
And those just hearsay. There was not such a vehicle because all the vehicles that are in custody are in safe. They were there.
This is absolutely wrong.
Listen, Victor, listen. Secondly, when we left in the morning, there were already plans were underway. Actually, goons were stationed at all entries. If you looked at Homa Bay, the whole Sunday, Homa Bay was deserted. There were roadblocks, and these roadblocks were literally barricaded by building stones, concrete boulders, which obviously cannot have been taken to the place without the support of the government structures. The whole day, the road all the way from Homa Bay going all the way to Rongo, there were no vehicles passing through. There was no activity the whole day. So it was a premeditated
because of the communication. Is the communication you guys were having?
We went to in any case, we were not campaigning. We were just going to talk to the people. It's not a campaign period. So there's no time limit when you can talk to people. We got there late because we were blocked. The whole day we had to battle with goons who were trying to block us, so our movement was delayed. We started in Nyandiwa fairly late at around 1. By the time we were getting to Sindo, it was about 3 or 4. By the time we made the way to the junction, that's now when we started a fight. We had to go.
You started a fight. You started a fight.
We were
You started a fight. You started a fight, which you announced in Sindo.
Because
you announced that you were going for a war.
Honestly speaking, nobody in this country has got a right to stop anybody from going any part of this country. Our constitution is very expressly clear. So anybody to purport to say a certain group of people cannot come to any part of this country is completely out of order. It's out of order.
Let them. We don't want these fights in Luoland. Luoland, we have had enough of this. We want development for our youth. We want empowerment.
So what is development? What's empowerment?
We don't want us to be told that we continue running around.
Can I have my cup of coffee?
Victor, if you even look at the road, they are saying that
it's about to get fire here. All right, let's take a break.
Don't worry. You were great. Really.
Come on, let's play.
Okay.
I'll also play.
Then I quit.
Then I quit.
What the heck is that? Talking about Yaya.
Oh.
Isn't she playing a game professionally?
What's going on with you and that CK Jin Yang?
What? What's going on?
Yesterday, the game of us 3 was leaked on the gaming farm. The whole 9 yards. Don't tell me you didn't see that.
Hebu fikiria environment kama hii hapa Western Kenya, eti mtu atatoka hapa aende Nairobi kusoma university to conquer the world. Mimi Andrew nitahakikisha hiyo ndoto imezimwa. Tazama hayo yote kwa Gundu KBC Tuesday to Thursday 7:30 p.m. Leo sio kesho.
Kajiado Entasuba. Ni habari njema kwa wakazi wa Kajiado. Burdan tunayo. Nosim FM sasa inavuma kupitia masafa yetu mapya ya 105.7.
Kitabautwa County Olkejuado.
Pata uhondo na burdan kemkem kwa lugha unayoienzi ya Kimaa. ukiwa na Manga, Rongai, Mashuru, Kitengela, Ilbisil, Kiserian, Ngong au hata Isinya. Stesheni ya Nosim FM inakupakulia mambo yote kupitia 105.7. Ni mwamko mpya na Nosim FM 105.7 Kajiado County.
Nosim FM, Osimlino.
All right, welcome back. So there was nowhere they are going to have their cups of coffee in Amimisina, so we are all good to go. Let me come back to you, Prof. And the question I'm asking, the sanity that we are talking about, you have the standard there, you know, God Save Kenya, we have got Daily Nation talking about this, but the question, this is it. We as a nation, we pride ourselves as, I don't know, just take it over. Go ahead. I will ask that question later.
No, thank you. It's important now that we are less than a year to the general elections that we put high levels of sanity to the political processes that we have in this country in the coming months. Whatever we are discussing now about Homa Bay is not just Homa Bay.
Yes.
We saw it in Nakuru. We've seen this across the country. And, you know, I think we have a responsibility as leaders, especially the politicals, to ensure that we send the right message to the people of Kenya. You know, we are still not in a campaign period, although now guys have gone to the ground to start now talking to Kenyans about their political seats. You know, and that is why you see all this mobilization taking place around groupings or movements that have been created by politicians to, in a way, convince or confuse Kenyans. Two things that are very important. One is that the focus of any leader is to bring development to the people. Those people are moving around in this country, where they are having those conversations out there. But they are spending resources and time that should be used to deliver for the people who elected them in 2022. I saw photos, we've seen images from Mukambani, from Homa Bay, from across, showing bad roads. Yet the same leaders who are going to take those photos have, you know, allocation from the National Exchequer to take development to the people. But then when you ask, you know, Mheshimiwa here and the rest of the Waheshimiwas out there, they will tell you that they are doing what they are supposed to be doing. But when you go to their constituencies today, their people are complaining that our Waheshimiwas are going around. I have one from my own constituency, one from my own county, who is moving around. And people are wondering, are you going to look for a seat in another county, in another constituency, when you should be talking to our people, telling them that, you know, we committed this in 2022. That is what I promised, you know, for you to elect me. You elected me. I have done the following. I have not done the following. Instead of now coming out and saying that, no, you know, the president of Kenya is not doing this, you know, this former member of parliament is not doing this. I think for us, number one is to think on how to bring development to our people within the time that these people have given us that opportunity. Number two, the visions on the manifestos and the agenda that was put on the table then to the people in 2022, we have that responsibility. Instead of going there to start fighting one another, we have that responsibility to ensure that we do exactly that. And when we go down, like now, my brother Mheshimiwa, Funyula constituency, when we go there for some of these rallies, we should be taking photos, good photos, showing that now, as a member of the Linda Mwananchi or movement, or even UDA, or even Kenya Kwanza, you take that photo and say that, for me, as a member of parliament, I have done the following within the time that you've given me. And finally, it's about the vision that we are talking about. And I like that we are in alignment, that Kenya needs to look forward. We need to anchor some of these blueprints in law, so that whoever comes in, you know, as a member of parliament or as a president, does not change the development pathway that Kenya has put in place. And I like this Mheshimiwa Ondo, because you said it very well, that we need to make sure that everything is anchored in law, so that the MTPs that we have on every year, 5 years, are now aligned with the development dream that we have for this country. And this means that even the manifesto that everybody comes up with must be within the framework of the vision that we have. And finally, on the same, No,
The activities cannot be
you
achieved
see,
without the disruptions
you
you're
see,
seeing right now.
every person, even as a person, or even as an household, you must have ambitious dreams. When you talk about it is not achievable. So do you tell Kenyans that we should not have a dream? What we are saying here is that we should put our systems in place. When Professor Ino talked at KSCC, he said that we will not be able to achieve all these dreams that we have if we do not put our house in order. Corruption, quality human capital, and so on and so forth. But then what we've started is not a Vision 2060 agenda. We are starting a conversation. We are not there yet. So when we say that we're not going to be able to achieve Vision 2060 or Vision 2063, yet we have started this conversation with Kenyans to tell us what we need to do within the next 30 years, we are not starting from a wrong footing. The point is that every Kenyan will be given an opportunity to make proposals on what we deem as important for us in the next 30 years. And that is the conversation that was started down here at the National
and I was part of it. A question to all of you. Has Kenyan politics become too emotional, too personalized and confrontational? Because, hey, Mheshimiwa, what's going on? You actively play it.
Yeah, I'm an active player. I don't want to say it's becoming too personal. Yes, in a way it has become too personal. Coming too personal because the current person who holds the office of the president believes he has to win the next election. Hook or crook.
Which again is his democratic right.
This is democratic right.
Yes.
We also believe that it does not deserve any single day after 10th August 2027. And we have very good reasons to believe so. And we have articulated those reasons wherever we have gone all over this country. Now, let me get back to Vision 2060.
Yes.
We can't fix this country unless we sort out our politics, our democracy, and our fidelity to the tenets of the Constitution, especially Article 10 on the national values. You do not need to even think big. Article 43 clearly states, and the Bill of Rights, the entire Bill of Rights, it clearly states what a government ought to do. We simply have to go back to the basics. Let's go look at Article 10, national values. Do we, in everything we do in this country, do all those who govern this country, do they adhere to the provisions of Article 10? Every single day. Once we fall into that, it becomes extremely easy to run this country going forward. Victor, how do you explain to somebody, as we always explain, how do you want to build for me roads and you shoot me in the foot to an extent that I can never walk on that road, I have to use a wheelchair? How do you expect me to build for me whatever affordable housing, yet you cannot capitalize enough money in schools to enable me get education so that I can buy those houses? This is a conversation that we need to put on the table. These noises we are listening all over is unhelpful completely. This bravado, this chest thumping that we must win 2027 at whatever cost is of no value at all.
Even you, the other side.
Yes, let's bring the conversation to where it matters most. How many hospitals? What is the income, per capita income? What's the disposable income to people of Kenya? What's the rate of inflation? What's the purchasing power of the people of Kenya? Those are the conversations that we need here. Don't tell us about stadiums. Don't tell us about markets. Don't tell us about affordable houses. We want the basics. Tell us about the food production. Tell us, yes, you subsidize fertilizer. Has the food production increased? Have we stopped importing sugar cane? Have we stopped importing maize? Have we stopped importing wheat? Are we self-reliant in food production? Those are the questions we are asking. When we ask those questions, we are branded that, we have no agenda, we are clueless, we are brainless. If we are brainless, so why do you bother even stopping us to go to a place like Homa Bay to tell the people are brainless?
You know what? I want to ask you.
What's the cause of panic?
What is your agenda as Linda Mwananchi?
Agenda?
You'll answer that.
I will answer fidelity to the Constitution of Kenya.
Because it's been asked. It's been said that you don't have. Dan, listen to what Mheshimiwa is saying. There are two things here. There are ideologies, and of course there is policies. And then there is that aspect of wanting state power. What is priority here?
These people are looking for power. They just want power. And the crisis we have, Victor, the crisis we have in this country is this kind of political indiscipline.
Yes.
We have political indiscipline.
The insanity.
There is no discipline. Like I've said earlier on, these MPs, these governors, who should be busy doing what we elected them to do, are already on the rooftops. They're already on the rooftop looking for, 2032. When the president says, fine, let's discuss beyond 2030, they don't want. They just want us to talk about politics. They want us to talk about, they want the nation to stop because there is an election. They don't want us to discuss what happens after 2030. They don't want that. You get my point? They just want us to talk about these grievances. You get my point? And then if you ask, for example, I have seen, most of these, some of these politicians, they're saying that, I want to be president so that I can protect you, that I can bring democracy. We already have this thing. There's freedoms. We have freedoms. That's why they were able to even go all the way to Homa Bay. The rallies we have had, and I'm very happy that the Sifuna's rallies have been very peaceful. Western province, they were peaceful, Mombasa, they are peaceful. So I was asking, what was the difference in Homa Bay? And this is why I'm asserting here that what is going on, especially in Luo Nyanza today, is that there is a conspiracy. You get my point, right? Yeah. Governor James Orengo is looking at being the next Luo kingpin. He's trying to fight.
Has he said that?
I mean, he said yesterday, he said he is the kingpin. And with Babu Owino, he said that after Raila Odinga, it is him. Governor James Orengo even said, he's trying to blame the death of Raila Odinga on some kind of conspiracy. So what he's trying to do is to remove the Luo nation, from where Raila Odinga left them. And for good reason. Raila left the Luo nation in the broad-based arrangement because the Luo nation has for a long time been in the opposition. And this time, he wants the Luo nation to at least get whatever they can get, the roads that you can see. You know, point.
But development is not.
And they're not even asking for the person they're not even asking. Ask yourself, why is Raila Odinga's wife today serving in the Ruto administration? So the Luo nation are today with William Ruto. They want development to be brought to them. But now these people do not want. They want to bring chaos in Luoland. They want to ensure that there is no voter registration in Luoland. They want to ensure that the voter turnout in Luoland will be so small so that whoever they support will not be significant. So it's a bad conspiracy against the Luo nation. And so for me, what I want to say is that moving forward, I want to call upon the youths, the Luo youths, please ignore these politicians and let us focus. There's a song that someone sang that said that, can a Luo youth make money anymore?
Yeah.
We need to make money. We need to empower these young people. Someone who is telling you, go and grab a machete and fight, please ignore them. You know my point? And politics has to be about the economy. It always is about the economy, stupid.
Okay.
If politics cannot put money into the pocket of that loan or Kenyan youth, then it is useless.
This is another question that we'll also ask all of you. Starting with you, Adede. Why is it that every political disagreement, whether it is manifesto, ideologies, policies and all that, quickly degenerates to an issue of us versus them?
Yeah,
right?
the reason why this...
just a little disagreement and it's all blown out.
That's why you see the people from Homa Bay were very agitated. This discussion, the way you're putting it, we have reached a point where we are in the place where for a long time the marginalization has happened to us. Like where Mheshimiwa was, the road from Sindo, Nyandiwa, Magunga, coming all the way. That road has been pathetic. My mom's come from that side. From Sori to Laknyero, it could take you almost 3 hours just to reach. It's a distance of around 15 kilometers. But today, as we speak, the road is being tarmacked under Ruto's administration. And I want you, Victor, to take a little bit, a while, back kidogo. You know, the Gen Z movement did not just start. It started with the opposition, bringing rumors into the document of the budget that was not even existing. That's what they have started again. It's about how do we, they talk about goonism, but yet there are the people who are promoting goonism. Then they want to use it as a way of pushing the current administration to the corner. You look at even the headlines, they are not showing, even on the same Sunday, there was chaos in regarding this rally in Kiambu. It's not indicated. But the one they are picturing is the one which happened in Nyanza. The reason being is it's a script where they want first put the government on the corner. And then everybody say that goons are being owned by government. Yet, more of these goons are with the opposition. Then now when they push us, they push the government in such a way that they want to get into power through orthodox means. I want you to see from the video when Orengo left, when he was passing Ndiwa, going to join the team in Nyandiwa. I want you to look at that video very well when they were leaving Sindo, coming to Homa Bay, and tell me between the people who are waiting to receive them and the guys who are having goons. Look at when Babu was talking. Guys, let's move. Who are these guys?
To some vehicles.
Vehicles are guys nowadays.
Of course, in a vehicle you'll have a driver.
Victor, no. Driver is driving. Driver is driving.
Yes.
So look at that picture. There were young boys having machetes, having rungus. They were moving. Let's move. Twendeni. So, and I've operated with Babu Weno for some times. They play psychological game. They have the goons, they pay the other party, they're having the goons. So by the time you are on that discussion, they are on another topic. You get?
Okay.
They are on another topic. Okay. So it's something that we must, as a nation, we must really discourage, and we push our people to the discussion on the manifesto that we have, the Vision 2060. And for a long time, let's have a discussion around political marginalization. But today I see the current president is really trying to address. He talks about affordable housing as one of the issues that are not basic. I had an opportunity to move across the country with NADCO. I was in Busia. I was in Vihiga. We had a discussion with the people of Vihiga, and I asked them, during Uhuru's administration, what was the price of fertilizer? The fertilizer was 7,249. As we speak today, the price of fertilizer is 2,000, and it's going down. Is that not an improvement for what happened last regime and this regime? The Homa Bay you are talking about, there is fish market built too on the down the lakeside. The stadium you are saying that you are facing, you know very well, and we've both come from Western region, that Western region is known with sports, co-curriculum activities. Where else do we have a remarkable stadium within the region, apart from this Bukungo Stadium, that's still not complete? So when you start despising the Raila Odinga Stadium, which of course Ruto came in to rescue with almost 500 million shillings, you look at the region and you looked at it, Mheshimiwa, there are a lot of things that William Ruto is doing that were never there. And that's the reason why you see the people in that region are very hungry when they see the historical political digest that Joaquin Orengo has sung for so long, and they cannot, they have refused to transition to this other side of politics.
Very good. Right of reply, because your name has been mentioned. But even as you answer that, Mheshimiwa, is it possible to have a mature democracy, yet we don't have mature political parties?
No, we have mature political parties. ODM is a mature political party. KANU is a mature political party. UDA is a mature political party. You know how long do you take to mature? We can still have that conversation. What I want to appeal, it seems the two gentlemen have got a very clear agenda. And you sell Ruto's agenda. Allow everybody else to come and sell their agenda. Let at the end of the day, the people decide. Let them decide.
Do it peacefully.
Yes, allow us. When we went to Kisumu, We had our wonderful rally.
Yeah.
There were no issues. Any attempt to block us was thwarted by the wananchi themselves. Even on that day, when we entered Homa Bay, the kind of excitement that we received was as if the people had been liberated.
Liberated for what?
They were liberated.
For
You
what?
see, you can see that excitement. Now, I want to disabuse this notion that Luo Nyanza has been marginalized for many years. That Ruto is the savior, is the Messiah they have been waiting for since Jesus Christ died. Homa Bay has had very big luminaries in government. The same body was one time an assistant minister. Raila Amolo Odinga was a whole minister for roads, was a minister for energy.
He did wrong. He did wrong.
Was a minister. Was a prime minister.
Yeah.
Gladys Wanga was a very close friend of Uhuru Kenyatta.
Friendship and budget are different.
So you cannot tell me they have been marginalized because there have not been proximity to power. That's not true. In any case, Homa Bay has received almost 90-something billion since devolution came. When you go to the hinterlands of Homa Bay, it's a far cry. Instead of asking the governors who have been there and the current one to account for that money.
Okay.
That's the conversation.
So what does sanity...
That's the conversation I take to the people.
We are likely to see more.
And Victor, that conversation is making people extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah. But then...
We are asking very, very basic questions.
You know, where we are headed, we are headed to one of the heat... Actually, the campaign is just beginning. What is sanity to you?
Sanity, allow people to sell the agenda. Do not block anybody selling the agenda. However useless it is, you just allow them to sell the agenda. Nobody's blocking anybody.
Nobody's blocking them. Linda Mwananchi has been campaigning peacefully. Nobody has been blocking. Since last week, they started coming up with this idea that they will be blocked.
We have almost close to 100 political parties.
This should not go without being said.
Go ahead first. Go ahead first. I'll come to you.
So what I'm saying is that Linda Mwananchi has been campaigning peacefully. And some of these people are my friends. Sifuna is my friend. Babu is my friend. You get my point? But where I disagree with them is this kind of politics that puts, siege, pains, that there is a big problem. Yet we all know very well that the big problem is in the development here. And now when the Mheshimiwa talks about Wanga, should account for what she's doing with the money in Homa Bay, people in Sia are asking Orengo the same question. As we are talking today, 5 months, for the last 5 months, people in Sia, the employees have not been paid salaries. Yet, this governor, I come from there. Yet the governor is busy, running around, and let me tell you something interesting. And Mheshimiwa, let me tell you something interesting. These governors were not even willing to say Mimi ndo Sifuna. They were not willing. They were not even endorsing Sifuna in Homa Bay. Because Orengo also thinks like he wants to be president. Babu the same.
I don't know.
So it is really, really sad that the Wananchi are the ones suffering once these people are using the resources, the little resources we have in Siaya, are being used in gender rallies.
How?
And Natembea the same.
Resources meant for development, you take to a rally. Under what arrangement? Even if you are working the government, you know.
Let me say the following.
You cannot interchange the votes.
And I'm just going to respond very quickly to some of the issues that are being raised, because I come from a different community. We always see Luo Nyanza as a marginalized region. That's a conversation that takes place outside the region. And so that conversation is not just coming out from here. And we see when Baba Raila Odinga had these handshakes, every development from one side shifts to Luo Nyanza. Number two, let us appreciate what the government is doing. Let us not trivialize issues here and say that affordable housing is not important, OSHA is not important, or there is no subsidization of fertilizer. We are not promoting production in agriculture. Let us not take that conversation to that level. Why? Because we are on a national TV and some of this information is available. What the government of Kenya has done so far, the government of William Ruto has done up to date, you know, that work, performance and everything is visible. And there are things that we see that were not done, or that have not been done over the last 60 years. Number 3, as we look at the governors, we also need to look at the members of parliament. Because that governor of yours is using a government vehicle fueled by our resources to go to a rally outside his space. And you know, and those resources should be used to work, do some work down there. And so, as we say, we talk about 100 billion. Let us also not say that because these people, and you know I'm saying this because we have members from our own community who are taking the same direction.
In 1 minute,
and we are complaining because they have left their work. And they're moving around, lying to Kenyans that they are the messiahs who are going to take them to the next level.
Because we're running out of time.
Let us just be honest. Let us
what
do
does
our part.
political sanity?
And what Mheshimiwa said in the beginning is that let us focus. Let us focus our politics to development. So that we deliver on what we have promised Kenyans. Because at the end of the day, we're not going to be on these seats forever.
Adede, what does political sanity look to you? Because
political sanity looks to me like when Mheshimiwa talks about education, complain about education. Yes, they have the CDF. They're giving our children 3,000 shillings, yet they know bursary.
Is that political sanity?
Yes, political sanity. It's insanity. 2, political sanity means, you know, for the discussion. You know, it's not the first time Orengo was going to Homa Bay. He was in Oyugis, he was in Beta. Mheshimiwa, I want you to go and look at the videos, what he was talking about. When he was in Oyugis, he went out insulting the governor of Homa Bay. When he was in Beta, the same thing. So it's something that we also, as the Homa Bay people, we have to protect. We gave him a chance. He came. We thought he will discuss the issues that he wanted, the Linda Wananchi, to do apart from what William Ruto is doing to the people of Homa Bay. For example, we expected you guys to tell us in our administration that you guys want to form. Currently, Homa Bay has 2 ministers. We have Mbadi as the CS of Treasury. We have PS Interior. We have other directors. We wanted to tell us that in our administration, these are the positions that we are going to offer the people of Homa Bay. 2, we wanted you guys to tell us, because I watched the entire Nini, what are you going to offer us? These are the roles that William Ruto has put in place. Us as Linda Wananchi, we want to do another dual carriage from Rodi to, we have the airstrip there where you guys landed.
I believe that is part of your agenda. That is part of your agenda. I want us to
talking ill about you.
Okay.
I have no problem. The people will decide whether what you are saying makes sense.
I hope you are in Sindo and you heard what Karoli and the other people were talking about the aspirant, the lady.
Thank you.
They are the aspirant there. Whatever they were talking about, gentlemen, even the people who were there were very annoyed. They were saying that lady is a prostitute. Right. Is that something that you can hold a microphone and speak about?
I promise you, we need to cover this conversation. You all know that. What happened in Sokomjinga, in Salga,
it's wrong.
It's wrong. We just need to condemn it. I mean, Article 38, we also have, bills of rights and all that, fundamental freedom. We all need to do that. And in your own capacity as leaders of this country, help me. I'm also doing my part. Just help me to preach peace across the country. Allow me to finalize there. We have a summit going on at KICC, if you allow me. But, what do you want to say?
I really want to implore upon everybody.
Very good.
That in this time, allow people to exercise their constitutional right to sell their agenda wherever they are.
Thank you.
That's the most important thing.
Peacefully.
Peacefully.
Thank you.
Don't block anybody, and the state should really come out and protect the right of people to assemble, associate, and deliver their message.
Thank you. We can all buy that, right? Yeah. We can all buy that.
Yeah, that one is total agreement. That's
Honorable, Wilberforce Orudo is Parliament. You see they're shaking hands. Hello? Can you see that? Live on air. So play your card safely as Kenyans. All right. So thank you so much, gentlemen. Just hold there. We want to cross to KICC. There is the Kenya Health Summit 2026 happening right now in Kenya. And my colleague Nancy Okware is driving that agenda right in the CBD. Nancy, good to see you. The summit is taking, shape at a time that, as a nation, remember there was an Ebola question some times back. Please just take it off and tell us what's happening at the KICC.
morning to you, Victor Olo, from the Broadcasting House. We are coming to you live from the Kenyatta International Convention Center right here in Nairobi County. And today being Health Tuesday, it is All Matters Health. And the Kenya Summit 2026 is starting off today. This is the first summit to be held in the country, and it is being held under the theme, Reforms in the Health Sector, Health or Reforms Delivered, Health as a Right. Now remember, since the Kenya Kwanza administration took over, there have been major reforms in the health sector. We know that after President William Ruto took oath of office, there was the establishment of the Social Health Authority that has so far seen over 32 million Kenyans registered. And of course, they have been receiving care. And the idea behind this was to ensure that every Kenyan, despite whatever they earn, they are able to get care at all facilities in the country. We also know that in order to strengthen the primary health care provision, the country already has over 100,000 community health promoters that have been dispatched to various parts of the country in order to ensure that they link the patients to the various hospitals. And of course, they check on patients in their homesteads to ensure that they check maybe for their vitals like pressure and connecting them to the various health facilities. And right now I'm joined by the Kenyatta National Hospital Chief Executive Officer, that is Dr. Richard Lesiampe, just to talk about the health sector in the country in general and of course the reforms that have been undertaken so far. Thank you so much, Dr. for joining us. Let's first talk about the summit today and the time that it comes. What do you feel about it so far?
Thank you very much. I'm very excited this morning to tell Kenyans that we are here celebrating the Kenya Health Summit, taking stock of what this administration has done in the last 4 years, particularly looking at some of the greatest pillars. One of them is health financing, the other one is universal health care, another one is on issues of digitization, and finally on the service delivery by our hospitals and our facilities. We are very excited, as the Minister of Health, being led by Honorable Duale and our PS Oluga and Modhoni. We are very grateful that we want to tell Kenyans and showcasing, what we have done in the last 4 years.
All right, looking at the reforms that have been undertaken so far in the country, would you say that Kenya is on the right track towards attaining universal health coverage?
Yeah, thank you very much. All I can say is that every journey of 1,000 kilometers starts with one step. We are on a journey of universal healthcare, and we are saying that this journey is going to be achieved. It requires all hands on deck. And why I'm saying this is, for example, when it comes to the issues of financing, health financing, is very, very important and very critical for our citizens to access health facilities, to access, affordable healthcare, to have the opportunity to get the best services in every facility. And Kenyatta National Hospital, for example, is a national apex of healthcare in our nation in terms of referrals. We at KNH, for example, 95% of the patients admitted and treated at Kenyatta National Hospital are under SHA. They are actually paid for whatever procedures, for whatever services that we provide them at Kenyatta National Hospital. That's a demonstration on how universal healthcare is going to be achieved. Similarly, what we are saying here is that I'm a living testimony, having been the CEO of Kenyatta National Hospital 14 years ago. I'm back again in the last 1 year. I can tell the dichotomy and the difference between when I was here 13 years ago and today. When it comes to issue of equipment, KNH today has got 3 LINAC machines to treat cancer patients, treating not less than 150 to about 200 patients a day. And we intend to have this going forward. When I was here 13, 14 years ago, we only had 1 machine, not even a LINAC machine. It was called a Cobalt machine, a very old one, and it had many challenges. That is actually a demonstration of great progress. At KNH today, we have got 32 theaters fully equipped, that we have got no long waiting periods for our patients. In the past, I think when I was here, in the past, we had only about 10 theaters fully operational and fully equipped. Similarly, what I can say here is that we are a specialized facility, celebrating today 125 years of service. Kenyatta National Hospital was started in 1901. Today it is 125 years. So even during this Kenya Health Summit, we are also celebrating the achievements we have attained, in providing services to our Kenyans. We are a specialized facility managing 2,000 patients every day admitted at KNH and treating 2,000 patients on a daily basis, who come to seek services at KNH. And we are saying that one of the greatest transformation we have had is in digitization and automation. The world is going digital. The world is going data. The world is going technology. And therefore, for us to provide excellent and impeccable services to our patients, we have to be digitized. And today at KNH, while I sit in my office, I can actually tell how many patients have been registered in our International Trauma Center. I can tell how many patients have been attended to in every clinic. I can even tell how much we have raised at every minute of the hour. But that's not very important. What is even very important is the fact that the patient's records will actually be digitized, will be kept electronically, and that the future is that we are going to have one patient ID, that if you are treated in a village, in Garbatula, in a small clinic or hospital there or dispensary, when you move around, and you come to KNH at one point, even if after 2, 3, 4 years, your records will actually be there. We will not go to files to check on your records. So these patient records, particularly being digitized and automated, is very, very important. It's also very important in terms of research. Data, it can give us a lot of, it's actually an area of mining important data for innovation, and research. And therefore, we have digitized Kenyatta National Hospital from A to Z, and we are actually on that journey. We started it in May this year, and we are going to do that journey. We are also excited that majority of our hospitals in the counties are also digitized and automated. Therefore, we can indeed read imaging records, from different parts of the country for the patients who come to KNH. Yes.
Thank you so much. We'll be speaking to you a little bit later on, just to continue taking stock on what has been happening in the health sector and what the challenges are. Remember that less than 2 weeks ago, President William Ruto launched the SHA 922. That is the Lifeline emergency care number where one can call toll-free and be able to be connected to ambulances that will be dispatching them and taking the patients to the various hospitals in the country for care. And those are part of the reforms that have been undertaken in the health sector in the country. We are going to keep tabs on what is happening here, and we'll be live, as time progresses, just to tell you what has been happening on the ground. But for now, I'd like to hand it back to you in studio. Mike Migwi, over to you.
Many thanks, and Nancy Okware there bringing us up to speed with the events as they are happening at the Kenya Health Summit in KICC, whose theme is Reforms Delivered, Health as a Right, and we shall be bringing you live updates of that event later on. But for now, I want us to come back to in studio and talk about different matters that regard education. We are talking about transforming education because this goes beyond just the number of children who are in school to encompass how education can be improved, learning skills can be enhanced, as well as enabling tech-enabled education in this aspect. And when you look at UNICEF, it estimates that the Eastern and Southern Africa had about 366.5 million children and young people aged between 0 and 24 in the year of 2025, which is projected to grow by 2030 to around 400 million. So the systems within East Africa ready or gearing up towards these reforms and to accommodate the growing number. For that conversation, I am having Dr. Irene Nyamo, who is the CEO, Regional Education Learning Initiative. Welcome to Good Morning Kenya.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing very well, and
yes.
Thank you for having me here.
Yes, karibu sana. When we talk about reforming education in East Africa, what really are we focusing on?
Okay, thank you. I think there are several things when you think about reforms in education. The most important one is to consider the policies that underpin our education. So think about the curriculum, and that's a very important part of defining the goals and aspirations of the kind of and quality of education we want to see in our nation and in our region. The second aspect would need to look at the changing labor market. When you think about what is happening within the global space and also within our own region, what kind of skills and competencies do we need children and young graduates getting into the labor force, you know, to have acquired? And right now, we consider an important aspect of life skills and values because we want to see people who are not just cogs of in a labor market, but people who can solve problems as the society and the needs keep transforming. The third aspect that I see is the financing and investment that we would need to put into our education system. And here I'm not just talking about the infrastructure.
Yes.
I'm also talking about the investment we make in terms of thinking about teacher preparation. What is the level of workforce we need given the aspirations and the changing goals of our education system? What kind of attitudes do these teachers need to have? And of course, we also then go into the infrastructure. And as the labor market changes, one would need to think about technology as an enabler for education. So those are some of the areas where I see a lot of transformation needing to happen. And then, policy shifts so that there is recognition of the government as the duty bearer, primarily, and therefore the biggest investment and policy direction should come from government. But then we have other actors defining the roles that they can play. Parents are very important, and I think we don't often recognize the level of commitment and inputs and support parents need. So those are some of the things that I see as needing to affect the transformation process.
Do you know UNICEF estimates that the numbers I give, the Eastern and Southern Africa had about 366.5 million children and young people between the age of 0 to 24. And this is expected to grow by 2030 to around 400 million. From where you stand, is East Africa's education system, are they reforming the existing institutions and preparing for this rapidly growing number?
Thank you. I think, Mike, there is a growing recognition that, of course, we know that Africa has a youth bulge, and this is not a new phenomenon. We started to see it, from the late 1990s. By 2000, you could already see that there is a very huge population shift. And this youth bulge now demands that governments are actually more prepared because we know that over 70% of the African population is actually made up of people who are below 30. So the future is African in terms of who is being productive in the economic system. And because of that, we've had to think about how are we preparing for it. And you start to see a shift. So, for example, there is now a much more commitment, much bigger commitment to invest in early childhood education because there is a lot of evidence that is now pointing to the importance of foundational literacy and numeracy. And when these people don't get the necessary foundation, and we're talking about children between 0 to 5 years, the preschoolers and the early years of schooling. When the foundation is not right, then the rest of it doesn't work because that's where you're getting this evidence that says, 6 only 4 out of 10 children, can read a paragraph.
Actually, the World Bank estimates that 70% of children in low and middle income countries cannot read and understand a paragraph by age 10.
Exactly. So you're talking of only 3 to 4 out of every 10 students being competent enough to read and comprehend. And at age 10, you've already lost the most important foundational process. And that's why there is now a turn and a shift. And I think that we need to recognize. The competency-based education also, which, by the way, almost all the East African community, state parties have actually embraced, is part of that transformation that we are seeing, because there is a realization that there are certain skills, values, things like problem solving, critical thinking, self-awareness, communication. Those are things that children need to have acquired before they advance to the next level, after the foundational level. Foundational, we talk about preschool up to grade 3. And that's where we need to see the greatest shift and investments going into. Yes.
And speaking of education system, Kenya's CBC and even Uganda's curriculum reforms and similar initiatives across the region, as you've put it, they develop competencies rather than prepare children for examinations. But should we have, what would you say is the evidence that this philosophy is actually changing what happens inside classrooms?
Okay. I think I cannot talk about the evidence without talking about the transformation in terms of how we now assess children. So, for example, you will notice that the progressive work that students do within the term is also an important part of the cumulative assessment and, final grades that each of these students will receive. So, change the assessment. But more importantly, you also have to think about preparing the teachers differently. And at the point that the competence-based education program, and curriculum was being developed, the Kenya Institute of, Curriculum Development, and also most of the other agencies dealing with the education matters had to start also thinking about retooling, re-engineering the imagination and the thinking of teachers around how they deliver that curriculum. So if you go to most of the classrooms now, you will notice straight away from very simple things like how the students sit together, because the expectation is that they will work collaboratively. It's not the age of, each child, scoring the highest. It is, what have you acquired in terms of working together, in terms of thinking about how we communicate with one another, how we build consensus, how we respect, each other, and provide a learning opportunity that also takes care of how we understand our own society, protect our environment, and things like that. So there's a lot of preparation that has gone into that. And I think with time we will start seeing a lot more evidence. I would say that we're still in the early stages. But what we need to see, especially in Kenya, is more investment also going into the schools. If we are talking of the 3 different pathways that students can pursue, whether one is going into STEM or social sciences or sports and art, what facilities, what level of preparations are there? And I do know that quite a number of schools have actually reduced their enrollments because students are moving to where they are able to find some of these facilities. So there has to be a shift in that particular investment. But I can tell you that we are beginning to see children who are more expressive, they have more agency in defining and questioning and seeking clarifications on things that they are learning.
But something just clicked in my mind, and we can't talk about the transformation of education without bringing in the role of parent in all this. Where do they fit in if this transformation we are talking about is to happen and happening in a way that leaves a lasting impact on the life of the children?
That's a very interesting question, because within CBE or CBC, there is a very clear understanding that parents must also be involved. And I think you will recall that at the beginning, when the competency-based education was introduced, there was a big call by school teachers that parents have to help in, you know, supervising assignments. And many parents were complaining, why am I paying? Why are the teachers not doing their work? They are paid to do that. But the teacher can only do so much within the classroom. There's a lot more that happens in the informal space, in the home space. And when a parent, you know, from a very early age, say age 3, you're able to read stories, you know, for your children. You're able to expose them to opportunities where you ask them to, you know, undertake certain chores in the house. And you engage them and tell them, explain things to them. And then when it comes to values, if a parent can model respect, love, integrity, things like citizenship, you know, those are things that are caught. There are many values that you cannot teach a child. You can't sit a child and tell them, I want to teach you about, you know, loyalty or integrity. They have to gain those from seeing the parents model those. And those happen very much within the community, whether it is the religious spaces the children have responsibilities towards, or within the household. And then, of course, you will also see that within CBE, there is things like cultural dances, community service. When schools identify spaces in the community where parents, you know, can engage with children, then children can learn about community service, taking care of the environment, and different professions, you know, out there, so that people are not just thinking about being prepared for white-collar jobs, but to realize that the community is built through different skills, different capabilities, and different opportunities that we are all contributing towards a better society. And I think that requires the parents to be very engaged. Yes.
Doctor, you know, we cannot ignore tech because we have tech-driven education across East Africa. In countries like ours, Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania, and Uganda, they're embracing these digital solutions. Now, when you look at education, and now we are living in the world of tech, how irrelevant is it in the region if we are going to achieve this total transformation?
As I pointed out earlier, I think EdTech is a very big part of that transformation process that we expect to see. And that being the case, we are living in the information, communication and technology age.
Yes.
And so the different ministries, especially within East Africa, if you look at the curriculum and if you look at the preparations that is happening for teachers, you will see that there is a lot of embedding of technology, EdTech, within the education sector. And I think Kenya and Rwanda are really leading in this area. And one thing that really helped to accelerate EdTech integration into education was the COVID era.
Yes.
Because you remember children were out of school for a very long time. And out of that process, we learned that it is possible to use technology in order to enhance learning. Now, there are different ways you can actually use technology for education. First of all, there are resources, and I know KICD has a cloud space where there is a lot of resources that are available. And these resources can be utilized both within the classroom. When a teacher is preparing their lesson plan, they can actually integrate something like a short clip where they watch about how to do an experiment, for example, or how to run a certain procedure in science, for example, checking the levels of acidity in different kinds of matter. And besides that, there is also a lot of advancement that has happened in terms of investing in what we call a connection to the grid. Because even if they are not able to do direct online, integration of materials and lessons into the classroom, you can have some of these resources sitting somewhere offline. But it is important that we have that connection. Either they are using solar or they are using electricity, but the gadgets are uploaded with materials that can be used by teachers and students to learn. And then there is, of course, access to computers and the ability to actually navigate that space. At a very early age, children are now learning how to use the computer, how to develop, simple software and things like that. So it's a very important part of the learning process that has to happen. And it would be a disservice to not give the children that opportunity. But we are aware that, for example, in marginalized areas, this is a bit difficult. But I do know that, the distribution of gadgets in different schools is actually helping to improve that situation. And children are actually having a very good experience around technology. But we need teachers to get to the same level, because I know a lot of children are a lot more ahead of us as adults. And so there are different curricula. For example, I know that UNESCO and also within Kenya, we do have frameworks for enhancing digital capabilities for teachers. And this is really supporting teachers to upskill their skills in embedding technology in their delivery of classroom work.
Yes. And the world of AI, artificial intelligence, it's rapidly changing the skills that the students or even the job market needs. So when you look at the Eastern African region, what do you think should the education system be teaching students how to use AI, or fundamentally changing what and how they learn AI?
I think it would be mostly the latter, but at the same time, you cannot ignore the need for people to have the skills to utilize it properly. I think most of us are not using AI in the right way, and therefore we are not harnessing the great capability that AI can unleash in terms of the learning opportunities, because it has become sort of like the default thing. A lot of students are handing in assignments. I was teaching, about 2 years ago, I was teaching in a university. And one of the things I started to notice was the similarity in the assignments that students are turning in. And that's very disappointing as a teacher, because you want your students to engage with the material. And so coming up with clear policies about the most effective way of using AI will help us support our students and learners to utilize it in the right way, because there has to be a human intervention. Even if AI can produce certain things, some of them are actually not accurate. And so you need that understanding, capability, and skill to know at what point does the human intervention begin? Where can I use AI to enhance, say, for example, the way I put across my argument, improving my ability to communicate, my original ideas. But the human mind has to be much more engaged. And then we now teach them you know, to make use of it in a better way, but also how to actually produce software that can improve people's lives. Because in certain professions, it's actually making a huge difference. Like, for example, in science and surgery, it can enhance, you know, skills. So I think it is a case of safe use and utilization, but also building it in a way that we can make the most use of it.
And speaking of transformation, transforming education in East Africa, there's a conference that is coming up regarding the same?
Yes, yes, definitely. I can talk about that, Mike. Because Regional Education Learning Initiative Africa is a regional organization, we work across Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And we have got into a very strong partnership arrangement with the East African community. And then together with the Ministry of Education here in Kenya, we are organizing what we are calling the second East African Community Regional Education Conference. The first one was held in 2024. And we were focusing on preparing East African learners for the 21st century. So thinking about collective action around life skills and values. This year, we are focusing on moving from commitment to impact and thinking about how to build a resilient and future-ready sustainable education ecosystem within, you know, the East African region. And so from the 25th up to the 28th, we will be gathering here in Nairobi for a very big conference which brings together all the 8 states from East Africa. So we have Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, Congo, and Somalia, and South Sudan. They will all be gathering here. We have senior officials, ministers of education, senior technical officers coming together. And we want to talk about what progress are we making in terms of developing youth, in terms of preparing them for the workspace, investing in foundational learning, thinking about education technology, and how it can improve opportunities for education. We are also very invested in thinking around how can data and research, you know, evidence that we generate from research inform policies that are better prepared to, you know, shape the transformation that we are thinking about. And then where is the space for higher education? What can higher education do in terms of making sure that actually we prepare people who have ability to think and actually come into the workspace without expecting necessarily to be employed, but to be creators of opportunities.
Very important.
Yes, so there are about 9 themes we'll be focusing on, and we're looking forward to a great engagement at the regional level.
Very important, very important. The idea of creating people who can innovate and create opportunities for themselves. Thank you so much, Daktari, for making time to come and talk about matters of transforming education in East Africa.
Thank you.
That is Daktari Irene Nyamo, who is the CEO of Regional Education Learning Initiative, speaking to us about transforming education in East Africa. This is where this conversation ends. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Mike Migwe. Up next is Vivian Degwa with Health Tuesday. Stay with us.
In a world where news is ever changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first.
You have to do the impossible to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
Healthcare affects every Kenyan. But what does the future of healthcare in Kenya look like? Join us for the Kenya Health Summit and the Presidential Town Hall on Health, a national conversation bringing together leaders and citizens to take stock of the healthcare reforms made so far, examine what is working, confront the challenges that remain, and have the tough conversations needed to move healthcare in Kenya forward. Under the theme, Reforms Delivered, Health as a Right. Hear directly from His Excellency President Dr. William Ruto as key healthcare reforms take center stage in a special town hall conversation. This event will be live on KBC Channel 1 this Tuesday, 18th of August from 7:15 p.m. live from the KICC Nairobi.
Skiza, Mandy amenituma ni bring some sense into that head of yours.
Tupatane kotini.
Ameninyonga karibu aniue.
Halo ofisa. Naomba mfanye patrol area hii. Wacha nitajaribu kumtafuta Mandy nimpigie simu.
Umeogopa kurogwa?
Siku ngapi? 2. Shelo kwa kuja hapa kunichota.
Hii shamba la kanisa liko kwa jina lako binafsi.
Ndugu Muli hapa. Hata alikuwa amepitia.
Unazungumzia shamba yangu na huyu kwa nini? Why?
By the way, unajua si vigumu pia kupotea.
Mimi labda unipigie risasi Muli.
Unadhania ni huyu?
Alishaonja pesa hizi. So hakuna pesa tamu kushinda hiyo.
Pia mimi ulinirecord.
Kwani unaonaje?
Kama hii ndio tabia, sasa nani atakutrust na information?
Unajua wewe na Muli ni kitu kimoja.
Don't worry. You were great. Really.
Come on, let's play.
Okay.
I'll also play.
Then I quit.
Then I quit.
What the heck is that? Talking about Yaya. Isn't she playing a game professionally?
What's going on with you and that CK Jin Yang?
What? What's going on?
Yesterday, the game of us 3 was leaked on the gaming farm. The whole 9 yards. Don't tell me you didn't see that.
Are you ready for the next big thing in tech? Well, we'll spotlight Kenya's brightest young minds, game-changing startups, and breakthrough technology that are shaping our future. From AI and robotics to sustainable futures, we bring you the stories behind the scenes. KBC Channel 1. Remember, tech starts here.
We are the Davons, and then one of the service, and we sat next to each other.
Hivi ulikuwa umemnotice venye mulikanisha?
No.
We wacha. Anasemanga I ghosted him for like 3 months or so.
This time I find a wife. I'm not letting her.
For me, also he wasn't among the people I would date typically.
We planned the first engagement, it fails.
Like he's very romantic. The first time they came in kwa introduction, walikasirikiana. Our wedding was so beautiful. My dress.
So haujai kuwa na challenge yake akiweka masocks sijui wapi?
Never.
Nikianza kukuja nguo lazima ati.
We're expectant this year.
Are you ready? Yeah, more than ready.
Ujatingiza Yasin.
We always replace those who have left us. Hivyo ndo nafanyaga rafiki zako. Sometimes you have to sacrifice a servant in order to save the queen.
Cheki. Dave, acha kuniongelesha kizungu mingi, sawa? Jibu swali yangu Mark.
Gentlemen, Sam has left us.
Marvin, hiyo hapana. Nimekataa.
Yasin, sit down.
I'm so sorry we got off on the wrong foot. Marvin, I like this guy. I like this guy.
Sasa unaweza kupokea stesheni ya KBC Eastern Service kwa njia iliyomurwa baada ya KBC kuboresha na kuwekeza mitambo mipya ya kisasa ya kupeperusha matangazo. Pata matangazo kwa lugha ya Burji kila siku kuanzia saa 11 asubuhi hadi saa 4 asubuhi. Rendile Service itakuwa hewani kuanzia saa 4 asubuhi hadi saa 9 jioni. Kisha matangazo kupitia lugha ya Kiborana itachukua usukani kuanzia saa 9 hadi saa 2 usiku. Kutufungia jamvi ni Turukana Service watakaopeperusha matangazo yao kuanzia saa 2 usiku hadi saa 6 usiku. KBC Eastern Service inapatikana Lodwar na maeneo yaliyo karibu kupitia 98.3 FM. Na kwa wasikilizaji wa Burji, Rendile na Borana waliomo Marsabit na maeneo jirani, KBC Eastern Service inapatikana kwa mita bendi 98.7 FM.
Thank you for staying with us, and you are right in time for our health segment right here on Good Morning Kenya. My name is Vivian Dagwa. Now, we've had conversations on cancer on this show before. We've looked at the types of cancer. We've looked at the signs and symptoms of cancer. We have looked at the causes of cancer and the treatment options available. But today, I want us to shift our focus and get to talk about cancer care and the cost of survival. How much does it cost for you to actually get treatment for cancer in this country? That is what we will be looking into as we try to find a solution to restore hope for cancer patients. And I am pleased to be joined by my guests. I will begin with my very far left. That is Eunice Wambua. And Eunice Wambua is a cancer survivor, a cancer warrior. That's the best word to use. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, and then right next to Eunice, we have Edgar Laletti. Edgar is a medical social worker, Mount Elgon Oncology and Palliative Center. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
And then we have Nana Kilemi. Nana Kilemi is the CEO and founder, Needy Cancer Health Initiative. It's a pleasure to have all of you on the show this morning. And I want to begin with, you know, after a cancer diagnosis. Maybe we can begin with you, Edgar. What is the journey from there? After a patient has been diagnosed with cancer, what follows from there?
Good morning once again. It's a great privilege to be in this place so that we can share the information as far as cancer burden is concerned in the current society.
Yeah.
Now, the first place where the journey starts for a cancer patient is diagnosis.
Yes.
From diagnosis, we look at the access to the care itself, treatment, we have financial burden, the treatment adherence. Then finally, all these will determine the quality of life that the patient and the caregiver is gonna live. So, in the first place, once the patient has knocked the door at the diagnosis point, as a healthcare provider, you are saying, what is the quality of life? Are these two people able to live? This is the caregiver and the patient being the victim. Yeah. So in all the process that I've mentioned, it's all about money. Diagnosis is money. Access to care is money. Treatment itself is money. Even before they start treatment, already they have already exhausted, they are now started exhausted themselves. All these will determine the quality of life at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So you realize once the patient has been caught up with cancer, we don't have, to me, I believe there is no like rich patient and needy patient. When this smoke comes, it knocks everything. Yeah, so that's the concept.
Yeah, and we'll get deeper into that because even, as you say, even with the diagnosis, it needs money itself. Doing the biopsy is not as cheap as maybe we would expect it to be, so we will get into all of that. But first of all, I would like to hear the story of Eunice Wambua, who is our cancer warrior for the day. Eunice, if you can just take us through your journey with cancer. Where did it begin exactly? From when you were diagnosed? Just how has that been like for you?
Good morning. My name is Eunice Wambua. Soon I'll be turning 50. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in my late 30s. And it has been a journey. What made me come to realize that I had breast cancer, I had just finished breastfeeding my youngest son. So when I went to the hospital, I felt a lump in the right breast. So when I went to the hospital, in fact, the doctor told me that it's because I had been breastfeeding. So I was given some antibiotics, told to go home and take the antibiotics. I took the antibiotics for 7 days. Then I went back to the hospital. They did an ultrasound and told me all was well.
Yeah.
And the doctor, having said that all was well, I went back to my normal life. And I lived like that for almost 1 year. But after 1 year, I was now curious about the lump because it kept growing.
Yeah.
But out of ignorance, I did not seek a second opinion. And that is the reason as to why awareness is very important. Because when later it became painful and went for another checkup, it is now when I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Yeah.
Then now I started the journey of treatment.
What stage were you diagnosed
I
at?
was diagnosed at stage 2B.
And this is after you had lived with this lump for a full year.
Yes.
So probably if it was diagnosed immediately, it would have been caught at an extremely early stage. That's maybe the first stage of it.
Yeah, that is the reason why I'm saying awareness is very important.
Yeah.
And now the worst part of our society, because since that time I've dealt with the society for some time, most people believe that cancer is a disease of the other person. I was diagnosed in my late 30s. So I also felt that in my 30s I cannot get cancer.
Yeah.
Because there's a myth that people believe cancer gets the old people. But the current trends, in fact, the youngest I've seen was 14 years and was diagnosed with breast cancer. So cancer is real and it can get anybody, any age, especially breast cancer.
So we really need to go hard on the awareness of it, you know, and just to do away with the ignorance around cancer. Just as she's saying, you know, we tend to assume that it is a disease of maybe the older generation. Some people say ni ugonjwa ya wadosi. You know, there's so much myths and misconceptions around cancer. And I'd just like to hear from you, Nana, and get to understand where exactly did you decide that you want to start this initiative that you have, whereby you are assisting needy cancer patients. Where did that idea stem from? Is there a story behind that?
Oh yeah, good morning everyone. My name is Nana Kilemi. I'm also a breast cancer warrior. I'm 4 years now in remission. And Needy Cancer Health Initiative is actually my story because when I was diagnosed with stage 3C breast cancer in August 2022, my life was at the bottom of the barrel. I was in deep holes because I had just come from a very nasty divorce and lost everything I worked for. And for sure, I stayed with the lump for 2 years. I did not just...
Were you aware the lump was there?
I was aware and I knew there was a problem. But I was extremely scared. And I was very, very, very financially oppressed because I'm a mother, a single parent of 2 boys. Even feeding them was a problem because when my ex left, he left with everything, including a job which was feeding all of us. It was messed. So I took painkillers for 2 years and feeling the lump. Not that the lump was not there. I could wake up every day, feel the lump, come home in the evening, remove my breast, hold my breast, put a kitambaa of cold water, take painkillers, and for 2 years I never slept on the right side. So when I tell people, because Needy Cancer Health Initiative is a unique organization which is run by survivors. Me being of them, Eunice is in our team, and we are 3,000 of us. But people who have had, when I say you can house someone who is sick, they understand. When I say, oh, by the way, in my house we have no food, they know. When I come and say, oh, by the way, I met this guy and he told me he can't marry a survivor because what if? And when I tell, they laugh at me and say, "Ay, Nana, tumesikia your story." And when I come and tell them, oh, by the way, I was sacked from I have been sacked thrice because of the what if factor. Most people, the stigma is real. We are liability. Someone the other day told me, you know what? We can't insure you because you are like a car which has a terrible road accident. So that engine will knock any time. So when I am with Eunice, with Judy, with Peter, with Moredi, with all these people, when we talk about these things, they are like, oh yeah. So this is the story behind Needy Cancer Health Initiative. I have walked the journey. It is my story. I have been fed. When I got sick, I didn't have then NHIF, now SHA. So that is why SHA is very important to us. We pay SHA for the patient. Number two, we give them food because when I got sick, I didn't have food. We give them accommodation to make sure they have places to sleep because I was housed by my sister for 2 years. You know, we start for them small businesses because I have been sacked with no source of income, with children to feed, all these things. And I stayed for 2 years without going for a biopsy because I could not afford even to see a consultant. So you understand? It is organization behind my story and my life. So yes, stigma is real. The cost of living after survival is real because right now people see us now with red lipstick, and everyone say, oh. The other day, my brother was telling me, I said, Ken, why don't you people ask me how I am? They said, but we see you on social media, you are so fulfilled, you are so happy with red lipstick and eye use. I said, man, you don't know the struggles behind this.
And I want you to just hold that thought there. We go for a short break and then we'll come back and continue with that. Don't go too far. We'll be back in a moment.
Healthcare affects every Kenyan. But what does the future of healthcare in Kenya look like? Join us for the Kenya Health Summit and the Presidential Town Hall on Health, a national conversation bringing together leaders and citizens to take stock of the healthcare reforms made so far, examine what is working, confront the challenges that remain, and have the tough conversations needed to move healthcare in Kenya forward. Under the theme, Reforms Delivered, Health as a Right. Hear directly from His Excellency President Dr. William Ruto as key healthcare reforms take center stage in a special town hall conversation. This event will be live on KBC Channel 1 this Tuesday, 18th of August from 7:15 p.m. live from the KICC Nairobi.
Don't worry. You were great. Really.
Come on, let's play.
Okay.
I'll also play.
Then I quit.
Then I quit.
What the heck is that? Talking about Yaya.
Oh.
Isn't she playing a game professionally?
What's going on with you and that CK Jin Yang?
What? What's going on?
Yesterday, the game of us three was leaked on the gaming farm. The whole 9 yards. Don't tell me you didn't see that.
The wait is over. KBC Iko Huduma Center. Starting with Nairobi, kupata huduma za KBC imekuwa rahisi. From digital guidance and signet services to booking of commercial adverts and documentaries. Visit our dedicated desks at Huduma Center GPO, Times Square, Makadara, Kibera, or Eastleigh. Tunakungoja hapo. Whether it's a casual announcement or a specialized media solution for your business, we are here to serve you. KBC at Huduma Centers. Moving closer to you. Your station, your service.
Lights on. Volume up. This is where stories come alive. From local drama that hits close to home.
Alinivamia akiwa na vijana wengine wawili. Toka nje. Hii nyumba yako.
Yote ni porojo. To international series everyone's talking about. Stories that pull you in. Characters you won't forget.
Stop complaining and just get out of here. Go now. Go, go.
We turn up the volume with music that moves, showcases rising stars, and bring the beat straight to your living room. And when it's time to talk, we don't hold back.
How is everything going?
Real conversations, big personalities, the issues, the loves, the moment everyone's debating the next day. Every show, every night, different voices, one destination. This is television that feels alive, unpredictable, and missable.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. In case you're just joining us, our conversation is on cancer care and the cost of survival. Before we took that break, we had the story of Eunice and Nana as well. And something that came out from that story is the fact that we are having late diagnosis when it comes to cancer. So I'd like to hear from you, Edgar. Maybe could you be having the data on that so that we know, is this actually the case or this is just what is coming out of the story we have here today? Do you have the data on diagnosis and cancer in general?
Yeah. When you look at the research, we'll tell you that around 40,000 there are new admissions of cancer. 40. Annually. Then out of the 40, we have about 29 cases that may survive. The mortality rate, sorry. We lose about 27 to 30. So you realize that...
Is that 27 to 30,000 or 27 people?
I mean, we are about 40 new cases every time.
40,000?
Annually.
Okay.
Then, most likely, between 27 and 30,000 are lost. Those are mortality cases. It's because the reason being late diagnosis. And why late diagnosis? In most cases, we realize that these patients have other barriers to medication. We have cultural beliefs, we have myths. Before even we speak of financial burden, there are other impediments. Maybe geographical location, where especially those whose homes are in far interior, they even don't have information. Maybe they have been going to the nearby clinics for their treatment. By the time they're knocking at the door of the hospital, they're already late. And remember, once the patient has come late, once we have we've recorded late diagnosis, already it attracts treatment on burden. Because there's no option. The options for treatment are narrowed down. And most likely now you see that we have high mortality rates. think that is the reason.
Yeah.
So, what is our role as healthcare providers? Is to ensure that people have been, a creation of awareness has been done to the community through the CHPs and CHBs.
Yeah.
We have had partners in the rural areas who have been empowered, capacitated, who understands, who can read the symptoms, then can help in referring the patient to the facility where they can get their diagnosis. But again, the challenge becomes we have very few healthcare providers with active treatment.
Okay.
Like now, I'll make a reference to North Rift. We rely so much on MTRH. So MTRH is serving even people beyond the boundaries, to swam from Uganda, Bungoma, those part of Western, plus the North Rift, and even the South Rift. So you get that burden alone again, it will result to the diagnosis. A patient will come today, will not get the diagnosis, go back, come again, go back. That navigation also becomes results to late diagnosis.
Yeah.
So by the time the patient receives the diagnosis, it's already late.
It's a bit late.
Yes.
Yeah, and even just going by the numbers that you have pointed out for us, like that's just such a high mortality rate. And actually, cancer is the third leading cause of death in this country, and that actually proves that. But maybe, you know, we need to look at ways in which maybe we can be able to reduce this number. Is it possible for us to reduce this number? Is it doable?
It is. I think it is because, number one, when you look at the common kinds of cancers, we have breast cancer, we have cervical. For women, the leading one is breast, followed by cervical in Kenya. But for men, it's prostate. But cancer of the esophagus affects the two genders. And although it is high when it comes to men, so it means also lifestyle. I want to point out about the issue of lifestyle. The way we live, the way we conduct ourselves can also contribute to these numbers. Then as I talk of cervical cancer, then we have vaccines. The government has always been, or the Ministry of Health has always been encouraging people to go for early screening, which also can help in reducing these numbers. Early diagnosis will always result into cheaper medication. At least it will reduce the treatment burden. And also will give an open door for treatment options. Yeah.
All right. Eunice, what went into your cancer treatment?
In terms of cost?
Yes.
So far I've spent over 10 million.
Over 10 million.
In the last 10 years. So what have I learned? The cost of cancer is very expensive, but if I had been diagnosed the year I felt the lump, I strongly believe the cost would have been a bit cheap. But why did I not get diagnosed? I can blame the doctors as much as I wish, but I'm a believer in my health is my responsibility. So lack of awareness made me reach where I am. So I'm a very great cancer advocate. I do a lot of cancer advocacy. Because there are so many myths and misconceptions associated with cancer. Let's say like HPV. HPV is a vaccine that can prevent cervical cancer. It can prevent anal cancer. It can prevent several, like 5 cancers. But when you go to the rural areas, you find a CHP saying that I'll tell them to take their children for vaccination, but I cannot take mine. Reason being, they believe that they are doing, the government is doing family planning. But once bitten, twice shy. If parents would know the much I know today, because watoto wako nyumbani for the long vacation. Previously we were doing between 9 and 14 years, but the current instruction inasema 10 years. but they are still catching up now when in case walikuwa wamebaki nyuma. If people would prevent cancer, the cost of treatment would go low.
Speak to the parents and guardians watching you right now.
Yes, I'm saying if people would prevent cancer, the cost of treatment would go very low. And cervical cancer, in fact in Kenya, 9 to 10 women die on daily basis because of cervical cancer. And when you get that math, it comes to over 3,000 women in a year. And when those women are dead, their children are left without mothers. They are left orphans. Most families, we find that they are single-parent families. Those children are left desperate. So parents, please take your daughters 9 to 14 years for vaccination.
And it's free.
And it is free. Even if you don't get it at your nearest facility. Ask from that facility where it is available, and it will be, and these days it is being done a single dose. It is no longer 2 doses. With 1 dose, you are sorted for life. So please, parents, it is not, the vaccine is very safe. It has been done in the Western countries, and in fact, they've eliminated what we are dealing with in Kenya. So please, parents, take your daughters for vaccination. There are those who ask if boys can be vaccinated. Yes, you can take your boys for vaccination, but the daughters are more at risk than compared to the boys because the daughters have the cervix. So please, the best we can do for our country is to help one another, prevent. And another thing that people take for granted, exercise. Your lifestyle is a contributing factor. It is a risk factor for cancer. So especially those people who live in urban centers, take some time, do some exercise, walk around, just don't sit there all day. All of us are at risk of getting cancer. In fact, as we are running a charity run that will be happening at the Current there on Sunday. And as I was contacting people from our contacts, there are those people whom you could call and tell you they don't care. There are those people whom you could tell them and tell you, I've never heard of cancer, and I wonder where they live in Kenya. So what am I saying? Cancer is real. And when you hear anybody talk about cancer, take 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and listen to what that person is saying. Because when it gets into you, into your family, it comes with a lot of financial implication. So it is real.
And you know, just from what she's saying, it is actually real. You know, especially when you get to experience it, maybe not yourself, but even by having a family member who has this condition. So what does a cancer diagnosis really mean beyond, you know, the patient, beyond the person who has this diagnosis?
So literally it means a whole problematic life for the patient and the people who are concerned. Every day when we wake up in our office, we all have one focus on eliminating poverty and heal health, which has been brought about by this diagnosis. Because our children are suffering, our relatives, the ones who care, also feel a lot of heat. Leave alone that cancer is a family killer. Because after survival, after diagnosis, the people like us who are in remission, life is never the same again. There are so many heavy unspoken things which we cannot talk in public, but which are really, really, really excruciating. So, as Edgar said, I need Kenyans to know that every day, according to National Cancer Institute Kenya, we have 125 new diagnoses of different cancers, from children to adults.
Every day.
80 deaths daily. What does that bring us to? Can we please go for screening? Can you please go for screening, my fellow Kenyans? We need to stop this madness of the problems which I don't know does not affect me. Let me tell you, if that problem gets you at stage 4, you will be in for a huge surprise. Let us, women, mammogram is every 2 years. If you are 35 years and above, every 2 years go for mammogram. Cervical screening, pap smear, once every 3 years. But if you're HPV positive, you go every once a year. For men, prostate screening is once every year. I'm telling you guys, screening is a game changer. Screening is the in thing, and if you are not screening, then you are signing a very, very sure death warrant. Go for screening. This is what only thing which is going to help us, and stop prescription, because something like stomach cancers are coming in form of H. pylori, acidity, you know, discomfort, I don't know, constipation. If you have those things, please go to hospital. As she said, diet, 79.9% of NCDs, non-communicable diseases, are diet related. Why are we eating as if our bodies are dustbins? This is the only body that you have, and this body has no repair. I'm telling you the truth. She can tell you because she has been. I can tell you our lives are never the same again. It is costly to be sick. It is very expensive to maintain being a survivor. Please take care of you. Let's go for screening. Let's stop stigmatizing cancer patients. Cancer si uchawi. Cancer si kurogwa. Na kansa ifashiki watu wale wamefanya madhambi mingi kushinda wengine. Cancer is real, fellow Kenyans. Cancer is so real. You could never believe it. 125 new cases daily. It is no longer a laughing matter. Let us take care of ourselves.
Yes.
Edgar, what goes into being a medical social worker in an oncology institution or setup and that palliative center? What goes into that?
What? Pardon?
What goes into being a medical social worker in that space?
As a medical social worker in that space is basically is to empower the patient. And you see, right now we have changed the treatment approach. We are not concerned about the patient as per se, but we are saying where did the patient come from? From which environment? What kind of environment is this patient coming from? Because even after treatment, they are going back to the very environment. So my role as a medical social worker is to ensure that the patient has received treatment, but again, goes back to the community or to the social environment which is conducive, which can help her or him to adhere to the treatment process. Like the patient should be able to, the patient and the caregiver should be able to know the pathway, treatment pathway, at ease, not by difficulty. They should know where they are supposed to receive such particular treatment at what time. So my role is to just make a follow-up that the patient is comfortable. I have improved the quality of life of this patient together with the caregiver. Remember, when cancer knocks at the door of that family, it affects, it dismantles the whole system, financially, economically, even love affair will have, even the bedroom issues will be affected. They will tell you, how do a cervical cancer patient satisfy herself? It is something that should also come out. And when we speak of the cost of survival, those are the costs of survival. So that is what we try to put in place. The patient has been able to navigate the pathways to the treatment destination, but again at ease. Then now, at ease means we cut the costs. If I've been able to empower the caregiver, instead of the patient going to the facility at the far end, she's able or he's able to get the services or the care from the caregiver. Kwa mfano kama kuna hitaji lolote lenye patient angeendea dawa, patient caregiver ataelewa. Hizo costs zitakuwa cut off by merely going at the nearest facility, atapata morphine, narudi.
Eunice, from your point of view, from your experience rather, would you say that cancer care in Kenya is accessible
just from what you experienced with cancer? Is it accessible?
Depends on where you live in Kenya. If you are talking about Nairobi, in Nairobi it is accessible. When immediately after you leave the outskirts of Nairobi County, cancer care is not accessible because 90% of people have been coming from all over and coming to Nairobi for treatment. And let's say like when you go for the outside cancer centers, especially the government cancer centers, let's say like in Machakos, they still refer to Nairobi. They'll do chemo, they'll do some tests, and then tell you whatever you need to do after that, it's not within our reach, so they refer you to KNH. KNH still has a lot of congestion. So, per se, cancer treatment is still not accessible. And that is the reason as to why people are dying at home. Because like 2 weeks ago, I was at home. I met this guy. He went to Machakos level 5. He was referred to KNH. He came to KNH once. He missed the appointment. He was given an appointment of like 6 months afterwards. He has jaw cancer. In 6 months' time, where will he be? Soon and very soon, he'll become part of the statistics. So still. And then another critical thing that people don't understand. After treatment might take you 10 years, 15 years. There's a lot of life after that. And if you are employed, you've been dismissed from work. Maybe you were married, your spouse has left you. You were in a family, they felt that you are burdened because of the cost, they left you. So you are left on your own. Nobody is willing to employ you. Nobody is willing to be associated with you. And that is the reason as to why, personally, I became a member of this organization. Because in this organization, we are so many of us who have been through the journey and they understand the journey. And through the funds that we are raising, maybe like now the run that we are having on Sunday, that will be happening at the hub in Karen, which I would wish all of you to support us. Through the money that we'll make that day, we'll be able to start small businesses. At least to know when you do something for yourself, your life has meaning and it gives you a livelihood. Because since you have cancer, does not mean your life ends. There's a lot of life after cancer. And because you are sick, you will not avoid your responsibilities. It does not mean you will not take your children to school. It does not mean you will stop eating. If you are paying rent, it does not mean you will stop paying rent. And you will also have to go for clinics. When you go to the clinics, it's not free of charge, you pay. So, through the initiative, we are able to support the view that we are able to support because there's a lot of life after cancer. The treatment takes a short duration of time, but survivorship. In fact, in Kenya, nobody talks about survivorship. In fact, when I went for treatment, my doctor told me the diagnosis, the steps of treatment, but she never told me there's something that is going to happen after I finish treatment. Another thing that most doctors don't factor into account, psychological support. Psychological support. Yes, you've been diagnosed with cancer. What next? What are you telling yourself? In fact, 10 years later, where I come from, there are people who still don't talk to me because according to them, I'm supposed to be dead. You cannot be diagnosed with cancer and still be alive. They point at you with their tongues, not using their hands. What does that one mean? They feel you are a bad omen in the society. Even the churches that you go, there are those who will tell you, come pray for us. That demon you have in you, ikutoke. And surely cancer is not a demon. So that is the space personally I've been in. But I thank God for the far He has brought me. So survivorship is also a journey. And it comes with a lot of stigma from everybody. So it's not easy.
Yeah, I realized you wanted to add on to the accessibility of cancer care while she was speaking. So Edgar, you can get into that.
I think we have less than 5 active treatment.
Less than 5 all over the country.
MTRH, KNH, University, KU. I think those are Garissa,
Mombasa.
And Mombasa. So, and sometimes, you can go into those treatment centers when the machines have broken down. It means the patient has to go back. Now, Eunice has talked about survivorship, which is very, very critical area of where now a healthcare provider. because the work of an MO is just to diagnose the results. But it is my role with the multidisciplinary point that we will explain, we will define the diagnosis. Because even at that point, if you don't define this diagnosis properly, the patient will go and as she goes. Ataenda kama ameenda kabisa. But it's now my role to bring them together as a family to understand the diagnosis and to understand the journey. If you are going to Nairobi, you now have to budget for that journey. That is where we come in. Yeah. As a patient and as a caregiver, they suffer some, we call them total pain. We have spiritual pain. She has talked about the pastor saying it's the demon. We talk about the emotional pain. You've lost your responsibilities in the family. You feel you are displaced. That is emotional pain. Which they suffer psychological pain. What next? Who will be caring for my children? Who will be going for shamba? You know, we have socioeconomic pain because it has eaten the pockets. It has teared the pockets. You sold everything. Then now we have that physical pain, the pain that calls for morphine, of which even the morphine itself is rare to get right now. You get. So they go through what we call total pain. And that's now where we bring in the multidisciplinary team. So that the MO can, the CEO, the MO can sort, the pharmacist can sort the other part. Then the psychologist can sort the psychological part. The social worker can sort the socioeconomic part, and even the social issues like now emotional, the cultural barriers and all that. That's what we are trying. I want to acknowledge the roles that are being played by KEPCA.
Okay.
They are training healthcare providers. Whether you are a medic or not, at least any moment you are associated with the patient, you are trained to understand what this cancer is, so that in case of anything, you can do what you can do, so that you leave what the doctor can do for the doctors. It also cuts the cost.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Nana, you know, when we call you a cancer warrior, sometimes we may not know what it means to be that warrior, you know. So, and she's touched a bit on survivorship, and he has too. So just from your encounter, what does it take, you know, to be a survivor? You know, it is now, you have lived it, you have gone through the management of it, the treatment part of it, the cost, and everything else that we've talked about. But what exactly does that, carrying that title of warrior and survivor, come with?
So first things first, let me hand about the statistics, because the cancer inequities in Africa are not accidental, they are systemic. Is what she said. He has Anjo cancer and he has been given appointment 6 months after. That person cannot survive. So the inequities are systemic. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the accessibility, which is not there. So what does it cost to be a survivor? Number one is the acceptance. What we do and what me, Eunice, and others have trained ourselves is we accept that we have a problem and our lives will never be the same again. Number two, the people who are able to support us, strangers, family, friends, we let them support us. We tell them where we are coming from, where we are going, and the challenges that we are facing. Number three, we accept that God is our healer, and God heals and heals completely. And the last thing is, you have to wake up every day. Me, Eunice, and others wake up every day knowing that we are in a battlefield. Ni kama Israel na Iraq. Ukifanya hivi umepigwa bullet ukakufa. So you have to attend your clinics, take your medication, exercise, change your eating habit, stress management, because adult cancers are 100% stress related. So people need to know that. So to ours, we number to field, and we have accepted that. So it is you to wake up as an individual and fight for you. This is why this space no longer feels like abandoned. It no longer feels like, you see, even if you wake up in the morning and tell me, but cancer iponangi kabisa, it is well and good. It no longer feel unsafe. It is safe for us. We speak to ourselves and we are fighting on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I would not want us to finish this conversation without, you know, we've touched yes on the stigma, but maybe how do we change that? Because, you know, you've spoke about it, even mentioning that you've lost jobs due to stigma. So just how do we change that story for cancer patients and survivors?
Well, how we change that is through awareness. There's no any other way. People need to understand cancer is real and cancer can touch everyone. Also, people need to understand cancer si uchawi. Also, people need to understand that there is life after cancer, as Eunice said. We are human beings. We are just normal human beings. We are under treatment, yes, but we are normal human beings. And also, people need to understand that cancer is preventable because 80% of adult cancers are preventable. People need to understand that cancer is extremely treatable, cancer is curable, and cancer is manageable. There are people who have lived 30, 40, 50 years after cancer, and employers. And I'm addressing this to both private and public. Tafadhali, stop chasing people away after cancer diagnosis. Nobody is an island. Let us accommodate people, understand where these people are coming from, as Edgar has said, and support them. To the relatives, to the spouses, me and Eunice, we are examples of people who have been left by spouses just because we got sick. But what happened to the vows of for better or for worse? What if you get sick? Please, let us all accommodate others, relatives who have people who are sick at home. Pelekeni watu hospitali. Wacheni kufungia watu kwa nyumba, mkisema kansa ni uchawi, ati mtafilisika. Please take people to hospital. And Kenyans, let us also stop lying to others as herbs can cure cancer. It is a lie. Cancer is lethal and cancer needs lethal treatment. We have to do conventional medicine. You have to go for chemotherapy. You have to go for radiotherapy, surgery, and all these things doctors are saying. Because doctors are the experts. Please watch an in Angata Press. Herbs cannot heal cancer. It is a lie. You can just do, maybe after the main treatment, come and you have to do research on which herbs you are taking. And that is why we have so many cases of kidney failure, because people are taking everything and anywhere, and there is no research. Yes.
Yeah. Now, you know, it's good that you have talked about this, because I feel like there's been conversations around, you know, there are things you can take, there are herbs that you can take and you might be okay. So it's good that you are speaking against that, because, you know, even looking at what we've mentioned in terms of accessibility to cancer care in this country, it's very minimal. Unfortunately, it's still minimal, and it's something that is still being worked on. So I'm sure for someone who's in this interior place and they're being told the herbs can work, they would go for that, because they're wondering, if I look for, you know, proper healthcare, where do I even begin? If you know the hospital that they can get access to this is maybe miles and miles away. So it's good that you're talking about the fact that just go to hospital, find a way to just go to hospital. And for the relevant authorities, I'm sure it's something they're looking into, it's something they're working on. And even talking about the cost, maybe Eunice, you can speak on that a bit. You know, does the social health coverage in Kenya cover for that? You know, SHA, that's the social health insurance.
Personally, when I was started treatment, we were using NHIF. And to me, NHIF was a better system than SHA. But despite that fact, SHA still supports. Because SHA pays for every diagnosis per year, 800,000.
Okay.
But when you compare the cost of cancer treatment, the whole cost of cancer treatment, and the amount of the government that is giving us, that is the share coverage, it is just but a drop in the sea. But it is better than nothing, because it has really, personally, I've taken medicines for the last 10 years.
Without having to pay out of pocket?
I've never paid cash.
Okay.
NHIF used to approve it for me.
Okay.
SHA still approves it for me.
Okay.
Because I defaulted treatment for like 2 years after I had an accident. So I'm still on treatment. I'm still on the medication for breast cancer. So the government is really doing something with the 800K, but it is not sufficient.
Okay.
Like for my example, before I started treatment, I did diagnostics. That cost me like 200,000. Bone scan, PET scan, CT scan, biopsy. I cannot even name all of them.
Yeah.
And when you factor into that, and the amount of money that has been given to diagnostics, it's not enough, but it is better than nothing.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to read some of the comments that are coming in on the same. Remember, if you have any question or comment on the conversation that we are having today, you can be able to send us a WhatsApp message through the number on your screen, 0707303212. Someone here is saying, thank you for enlightening us. May God bless you. Good morning, Kenya. We also need to talk to men out there about breast cancer. Most men are scared. Lack of knowledge or ignorance about men getting breast cancer is something to be talked about. All right. Another one here says, what is the best diet for cancer patients? Maybe Edgar can get into that. And another one here says, how is asking a question, and they're asking, how frequent should one go for tests for both genders, and how much does it cost? Edgar, maybe if you can speak, maybe you can speak to the men about breast cancer, because it can get both genders, yes, and then talk about the diet, the diet that cancer patients should follow.
Okay. Okay, thank you once again. The statistics will show that breast cancer for men is about 1% in Kenya. It's not so high, but again, we should not just overlook it. It's good to go and be free.
Yeah.
And be free completely. We have one case as far as Trans-Nzoia is concerned, which we are doing a follow-up on it for breast cancer for men.
Okay.
Of all the numbers, we only have one.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to nutrition, I always like to be open about what I do and what we have. This one requires a lot of speciality. So it is. I leave it to the. Maybe one time you will invite the
nutritionist for that specifically. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't want to say something which will confuse people.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's the person who had asked about the tests and how frequent we should be going for these tests for both genders. But I believe you had touched a bit on that.
Yeah,
You had talked about it.
Yes.
So maybe they missed it. If you can just...
So I said for women, for pap smear is once every 3 years. Then if you're HIV positive, it is once every year. For breast cancer, mammogram is 40 years and above, and it is once every 2 years. And for men, for prostate, a PSA screening is once every year. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And if you have a stomach problems, the H. pylori, the bloating, the acidity, the bloating, constipation, please talk to your doctor and make sure you do some endoscopy or colonoscopy. But tafadhali, just do some serious screening. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Let me read 2 more. One is saying, any preventive measures that we can take
or use. And then someone here is saying, does our lifestyle contribute to getting cancer, like the air we breathe here in Nairobi or the food we eat mostly in the city? Her name is Sylvia. And then Peterson from Meru is saying, we are being told that our country is leading with cancer illness because of the toxins in the water we get to drink. Is it true? And if so, what can we do? I don't know if that can be backed.
I think in fact, I would wish to say that let us focus so much on research, evidence-based things. Let us not just speculate things.
Yeah.
In medical setup, we say disposal factors, because cancer does not have, we don't have 100% of certain causes for particular cancer type. So we say there are disposal factors, but it is very true that people who smoke are they have high chances of being affected by cancer of the lungs and all that. But there is new things requires new knowledge. We should not just be seated somewhere at the fence. It concerns all of us. Let us do research and let us be led by the research, the evidence-based outcomes.
Yeah, and still on the same, because there's a question on that, as we finalize on that bit, there have been conversations that, microwave rays also contribute to cancer, and as well as the UV rays that we women use when we go make our nails. Is that supported by any research?
Yeah, there are researches. These things, we call them the radiations within our environment. Especially if you're now going for, I'm just making an example. If you are going for an X-ray with a ring on your
finger,
or earrings, of course it will sense and na itakuleta shida.
Okay.
Over talking on the phone for a very long time. These things are artificial. They are made by human beings. Don't forget that when they are doing business, they don't mind about how many will die. For their major goal is just to get the income. Sasa ni wewe ndio utajichunga. It's up to you to take care of yourself. I will also mention about food. Food, the kind of food that you eat, you take in, matters a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me touch something on preventive measures. Because as we're saying, of course, diet is a really contributing factors, but then there are other things which you can do to prevent this, because let's say, for instance, 99.9% of women who have been diagnosed with breast cancer had a deficiency of vitamin D. What is vitamin D? It's a sun. So people need to take care of their diet. We need to walk, because when you walk, you exercise your entire body and you breathe in a lot of fresh oxygen, especially outskirts of Nairobi. And cancer cells never survive on well-oxidated bodies. We need to bask on the natural sunlight, We need to stop this thing of smoking, drinking, too much stress, multiple sexual partners, because again, what is HPV? Virus. It's a virus which is carried by men and sexually transmitted. So what does that mean? So really, there are things which we can also do to reduce the risk, countercheck the risk factors. As human beings, because these things, we know them, we are aware of them, so let us focus also on these matters. Yes.
Someone here is asking, how can one join your organization? I believe that's the Needy Cancer Health Initiative.
Oh, okay. Fine. You can go to our social media pages. We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we are on TikTok, and we have our website, www.needycancerhealthinitiative.org. You get our contacts there. So once you send the message, it will be responded to, then we'll guide you on how we are going to join.
All right. Let me read one more. What are some of the major myths about cancer and survival? I'm sure you've touched on that a bit as we were going on. Is there anything else you wanted to add on that?
Yes, that cancer si uchawi. Cancer is not witchcraft. It is a disease like any other. Go to hospital. Yes.
All right.
Cancer is not a curse.
Yes.
Okay.
It is not a punishment. You are being punished.
We did
God
do
forbid,
nothing.
but let me tell you something.
Yes.
When we are saying you've been diagnosed by cancer, do you know the person who has broken that news can die the next day? Yeah, this person who has been diagnosed with cancer. It is God who determines who die first. Venye
It's not a death sentence.
Venye tumeka hapa ni nani wa kwanza, you can't tell. So cancer is just like an accident that has happened in life, but can be, you can, with resilience, you're able to go along with it. Yes.
All right. What does dignity look like for a cancer patient? What does it look like?
Dignity looks like, dignity feels like being able to access treatment, being able to have food as you go through active treatment, being able to afford accommodation, being able still to have your children go to school, and being able to be treated just like any other human being who has had malaria, treated and is well, or someone who has diabetes who is still on medication, someone who has HIV still being treated well. That is what dignity means to us. So we need to be treated like everyone else in the society. That is what dignity feels to us. No more, no less. Na mwache kutufukuza kazini.
I second that.
You know, with research, we are focusing on policy adjustments. I've said the new things requires new approach. You can compare the life we lived long time ago and the current society, contemporary society. So we have to adjust our policy issues to align with the needs of the patient, especially under the health service provision. So I support the universal health coverage. They bring in new alignment of the policies that can at least help even the access to this critical treatment that we are talking about.
All right. As we almost come to a conclusion of this conversation, how important are community-based initiatives and initiatives such as, the Needy Cancer Health Initiative? Just how important are they? Eunice, I would like you to answer this. For someone who's going through cancer treatment, for someone who's a caregiver to a cancer patient, and for a survivor and warrior, how important are these communities, or is this community rather?
These CBOs are very important. Reason being, especially immediately after diagnosis, it shatters your world. And at times you feel that you are the only person going through that. When I go to me as a person, when I was diagnosed, I never talked about cancer to anybody for like 5 years. Reason being, I was bitter with it. I frequently questioned God as to why he allowed it to happen to me. And I did not really know. In fact, I waited for death for the 5 years. Because I had been conditioned by the society that after cancer I'll die. In fact, I remember I used to wake up every day morning and pinch myself to confirm that I can still feel pain. And it took a toll on my emotional status of being. So the CBOs are very important because they give you a sense of belonging. And for sure, one thing I've come to realize, a person who has walked that journey will understand you in a better way than a person who has not walked that journey. Because when I call Nana in the morning and tell her, my friend today, sina nguvu, I don't feel like doing anything, she'll understand. But when I call my employer and tell him, siski kufanya anything, I'm in a lot of pain because it's okay. By the way, we are among the few lucky who are there. Because with a diagnosis of around 45,000, when 30,000 die, how many are left? In fact, I call myself an hero because I'm still here, despite the many challenges that I have gone through. So these CBOs are very important because on top of that, we take awareness to the community. I once went to Garissa to train CHPs about cancer. And when we were training, I told them I'm a cancer survivor. But they were like, people don't survive cancer.
Yeah.
So, but when you are able to confirm to them that you've been through it and you are still here, people believe you more.
Yes.
Even more than
hope.
a doctor who is telling that person. And we are also able to support those who are newly diagnosed. Because cancer diagnosis comes with a lot of stress, a lot of trauma, a lot of, it affects you psychologically. And also, we go to the grassroots and do awareness.
Which
and
is
we
very
also
important.
support people in the
screening.
ground.
Okay.
And screening. Because that is the way we are going to prevent.
All right. I want us to finish. So I would like for you, in very few seconds, speak about the charity run for those who would like to come on board and assist.
So, so thank you so much. We have our third edition charity run on 23rd of August at the app Karen. We will be doing this for the vulnerable cancer patient to raise funds to continue supporting this program through their SHARP program, food feeding program, survivorship and livelihood. So if you want to support us, please, again, we are on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Needy Cancer Health Initiative. The registration is only 3,000, and you get, of course, a T-shirt, bib, kit, medal, and all these things. We have a pay bill, and our official number is 0727 735 306. 0727 735 306.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for this conversation. I am sure that you have gotten to restore hope to a patient who thought that there was no life after cancer. For them to see you here and seeing you all strong, I am sure you have restored hope for them. And thank you for the work that you're doing as well, Edgar. And this is where we get to end this conversation. Thank you so much to each and every one of you who has engaged with us and has been part of the show from the moment we began at 6:30 a.m. until this point in time. On behalf of my colleagues and everyone else that has made the show a success, I wish you a lovely day. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Goodbye.
Today, we're talking about cyber grooming, a topic which could be traumatising for some people. It's a growing problem at the moment, with teenagers and kids increasingly being sexually harassed online. And virtual worlds are unfortunately giving groomers an ideal hunting ground. So what can be done against cyber grooming? It's a heavy topic, but an important one today on Shift. This is the dark side of the internet. Predators, mostly men, are jumping online to build trusting relationships with minors. Their aim? To groom their victims for sexual relations. 84% of these victims are girls. Children as young as 10 years old are being approached. And the cyber groomers are well versed in the art of exploitation. It's nothing new, of course, but now they're using virtual worlds, which are extremely popular with kids. It's a perfect place for groomers to act anonymously.
A horrible thought. Children in virtual partaking in simulated with adults. This happened in the popular app VR Chat.